Okay. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Get that volume knocked up a little bit. Of course, it's probably not playing anything right now. There we go. Alright, we started the night off with a little bit of multiplayer. Sort of unusual fashion for us, but that's the way it goes. We're going to get back into it. Some Final Fantasy VIII. We last left off when we played, I think it was last Tuesday, actually. Yeah, so it's been a minute. It's almost been a week since we played this game on stream. I have played a little bit on my own time, as I was explaining during the Fall Guys stream. I did manage to do a couple things I wanted to do, which was, I think, get all of the magazines and stuff that we were looking for, that we still had left out there. Hey, what's up, Mythical? Welcome in. How you doing tonight? Just missed some of the Fall Guys action, but you're just in time for some Final Fantasy VIII, which reminds me, this is still a viewer request. So I'm actually going to change the ticker for that. There we go. It is your request, sir. You're the one that requested this game. And we are good to go. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into it. Actually, I think I had a quick save. Hold on. Maybe I should just do that. Let's see where it takes me. There we go. Been on a Fallout kick lately. Interesting. You doing the multiplayer one, 76? So you play in one of the single-player games? I've been kicking around the idea of doing a New Vegas stream. So many people recommend it, and I played it for a little bit a long time ago. Well, by a little bit, I mean I played it for like 30 hours. But, you know, I didn't actually complete any of the main storylines or anything. Fallout 4, okay. Yeah, Fallout 4 I never completed either. The only Fallouts that I ever finished were 1, the very first one, and 3. And I put a lot of hours into New Vegas, and I put a lot of hours into 4, but I never finished the main storylines with either one of those. Okay, so last time we left off with Final Fantasy VIII. Oh, you're thinking about doing New Vegas tomorrow? Nice. It's a fun game. I kind of wish I had played it at a point in time where I was a little bit more invested in that type of game. I think by the time I started New Vegas, I was a little bit burnt because I had probably finished up Fallout 3 the prior year. And, you know, they kind of feel like similar games. And with me, I get burnt on games like super easily, so you never know, you know, when I'm going to be completely out of it or not. But last time we played Final Fantasy VIII, we had huge story elements. There was so much going on. It was a war of the gardens, Balaam and Galbadia, war against the sorceress. We had so much going on. And it ended with us defeating the sorceress, and she came back to her senses as Edea, the caretaker for all the kids that are now in the main party. And now we're looking for... I think we're looking for... oh, what's her name? I want to call her Melanie, but that's not it. Something. The girl, I think. And there were talks about her being near Esthar, which I think Esthar is in this region. There's a point of entry into Esthar, which we saw back at the Trebia Garden. But it's that big crater, and then there's like something blocking us from going in there. When you try to go into that area, I don't know if we saw it on stream or not, but like, you know, the pilot will say, "Whoa, the sensor's going crazy," and you can't actually go in there. So Esthar, I think, has blocked themselves off. I think ultimately we're looking for a way to get in there, but we need to find the girl first before we can actually get in there. Somebody did mention like something about Centra, which I think this is Centra right here. So I might do that. You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to walk in here, and I'm going to see if Quistis or Zoo, either one of them, have something to say that might give us a hint as to what we're supposed to do. I want to say this in front of Quistis and you, but I don't know if some people will be so forgiving. Oh, she's talking about Edea. Okay. That's alright. We put Edea, the sorceress, into her home. That seems to be where she's going to reside for right now. Renault is in a coma, so we can't get her into the party. I mean, we could try, but somebody's gonna have to puppet her, so might as well just not do that and leave it at the able-bodied party members. But I don't think there's anything we could do with her right there. So yeah, I think somebody mentioned Sentra, I swear to God. I don't remember when that was. I think it was relatively recent. But I don't know. That's like the only thing I've got to go on. That, and I've kind of been most everywhere else. I've been all around Galbadia, I've been all around Balaam. So those two areas seem to be covered, and there were no events or anything happening there. There's the Fisherman Village. We can go to the Fisherman Village and see if there's something cooking here. Let's see. Maybe I'll go see how the mayor's doing, since we have to go around the stupid bridge anyway. Kind of see what's up. The only problem about getting to like the bear's house and all that is it's so far removed. You have to walk so far. One of the major things I was trying to accomplish while playing this off stream, and I didn't get a whole lot of time to play this. I probably put about 2, maybe 3 hours in. But I wanted to see if I could get some better weapons for the team. Irving, every single weapons magazine that was available to us, and it's possible that I missed one at a point of no return. That prison, section of the game that was god awful, and we just had to keep going around in like the same little circular area over and over and over again. There were a couple missable items there. I think for sure one of them was a magazine for Zell, like the Fighting King magazine or whatever, and it kind of gives him an additional combo he can use for his limit break. There might have been a weapons magazine, I forget. There is going to be a lot of stuff from the list I took a look at in Esthar, and there's even one thing that's going to be in one of the past sequences with Laguna. So I do have to kind of watch out for that. Hopefully it's not going to be too easy to miss, but yeah, it might end up being a problem. We might end up missing some stuff, because a lot of this shit, it's so kind of frustrating, but yeah, it's timed and you can miss stuff. The prison is a big example because you can't go back to the prison. There's no way to get back there. Missile base, I don't remember if there was anything in there, but you can't go back to the missile base that blew up. So it's like there's a number of places in this game that are like one-time events and you can't go back there. Sort of unusual for a Final Fantasy game. Normally in a Final Fantasy game, if you get there once, you go there over and over again. But not this time. Or Dobe, or Dobby, Flo, neither one of them want to talk to us. There was a draw point here last time. Oh shit. I think it was pretty good too. I think it was like Ultima or something like that. I guess you could only draw from there once, or maybe it takes a long time for it to recover, I don't know. But nothing there yet. Well, he was the only one that I thought might have some semblance of a guiding path or something. What has happened since then? Banished from Galbadia Garden? There's this guy too, Martine. I think I built up gone after a while, wandering around mindlessly. People welcome me with open arms. Yeah, I think it's the same dialogue. I'm so ashamed. It's the same dialogue we read from him last time. Second bet was maybe he had something to say, or maybe he'd man up and try to go find the garden again. Actually, I don't know if that garden returned to where it was originally, or if it's still going around out there somewhere. So one of the major plot points that we learned was that Edea was being controlled from another sorceress, Ultimecia. So essentially, she's the big bad, despite the fact that we've been like going after Edea for all this time. But Ultimecia is the big bad of this game, and she was manipulating Edea. So we need to find her. It's a possibility that she might be in Esthar or something like that. Apparently there was a sorceress in Esthar, but nobody knows what happened to her. So who knows? It could be her. I guess we'll go find out. But we have to find a way to get in there. Let's see. What kind of items we got here? Stocking up all sorts on the high potions and potions, just so we could use that ability to the fullest. Oh, another thing I was trying to do, I got all the weapons I could, that we could potentially make. I don't think there's anything that I'm missing that, you know, everybody's got the highest grade weapon that's available at this point. And then I think there's only like 1 or 2 magazines left, one of which I might have permanently missed. We'll see how it goes. But after I had gotten all the weapons that we could get, I was trying to find basically like rare enemies, either to farm them for materials that we could potentially use later on, or to get them for cards. And I don't know, I might end up doing the card game off stream. Maybe we'll even check out a game of it on stream. I did play like 1 round with somebody just to kind of get a feeling for what it is. And you know what? It's the exact same card game that they ended up reusing for Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's like the exact same thing, except the board's smaller. I don't remember the card game in Final Fantasy IX. I remember liking the card game in Final Fantasy IX, but when I played the card game in Rebirth, it didn't strike me as being exactly the same as the one from Final Fantasy IX. I don't know. So it just seemed like the games are very similar. You just have like the 4 sides that all have numerical values, and basically wherever you place it on the board, you kind of have to like anchor your position in. And if somebody places a card next to you that's a higher value than whatever it's facing, it's like they are able to claim your card. The shitty thing with this game though is like, even if you win, regardless of whether you win or lose, any card that was converted to your enemy side, they get to keep. So it's not just about winning, it's about like, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to win? So it kind of sucks. I don't know. So I don't really want to play it, because like if I end up using all the good cards to actually win the battle, I might end up losing one. Now, fortunately, with the emulation and everything, you can do a quick save, I suppose. Just kind of like, I mean, you could, with just regular saves, you could just save scum, but with regular save scumming, you'd have to find a specific save point and then just keep backtracking back and forth based on when you win. Whereas if you use a quick load and a quick save, well, then you could just keep going like right from that point. You don't have to worry about winning or losing quite as much. But in any case, I don't know. I got some decently rare cards for some of the enemies that we can find. So if we end up using them for item conversion, or if I end up using them for games, who knows? We'll just kind of see what works best in our favor. But I'd probably end up using them for, because if I have a chance to lose them anyway, I'd probably just use them for item creation sooner than anything else. Let me see here. That's actually the way to Esthar. Which Esthar probably not going to be able to hop onto. Let me see. Yeah, considering it's a location in the game where you're like looking to get there, yeah. Man, it's stupid you can't go under this thing. It's so dumb. This big ass bridge is just like the most impeding thing. I would think that the trains are incapable of traveling there. Oh, you know what? I wonder if it becomes a plot point to go to that fisherman's village and take the train up into the Esthar area, because there was a train station there. But yeah, to like take it from that point instead of anywhere that's in like the Galbadia continent. So I was taking a look at a map. I think this is the Centra location. It's kind of like big. It almost looks like a crater. But I don't really see anything in here. It doesn't look like there's anything interesting going on. You can sort of explore the rest of the continent where Edia's house is at, but... And I think we had talked to Edia last time we left off. Here's her house at the lighthouse. This is where the old orphanage was. So here, let me touch down here. I'm actually going to go talk to her. I seem to recall talking to her was like a fruitless effort. She just kind of said the same thing after a while, but maybe her or maybe Sid might have some kind of information for us. In fact, maybe they're the ones that mentioned Sentra in the first place. Let's see what's going on. Eleni. Did I say Melanie before? That's why I was close. I believe Eleni is traveling all over the world in a ship. Even if Ultimecia decides to choose her again, it will be very difficult to find her. I will be staying here with Sid for a while. Should Ultimecia possess me again, I ask for your help, young seeds. Traveling all over the world in a ship. My probably biggest fear is that there's actually a ship going around out there. And it's, oh, is it a magazine? Oh, an issue of the Timber Maniacs. Okay. Well, I don't think it's a super helpful one. You know, those issues of the Timber Maniacs. Let me finish my previous thought. I was gonna say the biggest fear is that the ship is actually traveling around out there and you have to find it just at random, wherever it's like moving. Hopefully it's docked somewhere and we can end up finding it that way, but I got no clue. I guess at the very least that tells us that maybe she's in a ship, though. We sort of saw it before. I think it was like a white ship, but hard to say where that's going or where it's at now. But anyway, those issues of the Timber Maniacs, I was like, can I read this? Is there something I could do with this? You can't read it. However, I did notice while I was doing the terminals things, trying to up my seed ranking, you have to do like these quizzes at the terminals. You can access Selfie's blog, essentially. She's got a little blog, and she's the one that records the Timber Maniac. She's got like a fan webpage of Laguna, and I think Laguna is like the writer of those Timber Maniacs. And she's the one that like records and documents what they're all about and what he's been up to. What is this? Oh shit, I didn't mean to go inside. For whatever reason, I think circle is the exit button. It's X. No. I have heard that on the Central Continent there is like some kind of station or something like that, and you can actually get some decent summons from there. You heard N-Gauge. No. I don't think I would have been talking about the N-Gauge. Oh, okay, so that is it. Hopefully that doesn't mess anything up. So that must be it then, because I've heard of that. I remember hearing about that all the way back when I looked at that game guide for Final Fantasy VIII. But there's like a time limit there, and you have to go through there in a certain amount of time, and if you are able to beat the time limit, you fight Odin. And then you get Odin as like a random summon. But he works as a random summon kind of like the Phoenix does. We talked about that. You had to use the Phoenix Feather, and then the Phoenix will sometimes appear, sometimes. Who knows how often. And heal your party members should you all die. But with that one, Odin just randomly comes in sometimes and, you know, does what Odin does. He just kills all the enemies on screen. Apparently it doesn't happen during a boss battle, ever. But, you know, you might be fighting something random, and it might be good to have Odin come in and do his thing. But I don't know what to do there. I would probably preferably like to do that off stream and maybe with like a guide handy just so I don't miss anything. There's a possibility that maybe it was a one-time limited engagement and I accidentally screwed it up by walking in and walking out, but I ain't ready to commit to that. Apparently that's all like final level kind of stuff too, or like end game type stuff. So we might not want to even attempt that just yet. I think I sort of got the characters to a place where I would like them to be at for right now, but while I was kind of going through and grinding out some materials and stuff, there were a number of enemies that were sort of challenging me. So a little bit worried that we might end up coming up a little bit short. I feel like we've talked about the end gauge on the stream before. Going back to that. It was a concept that was ahead of its time. I mean, playing games on your something that was a phone and a game console in one package. I mean, these days everybody plays games on their smartphone. It's essentially the same thing. It's just that the peripheral was like not great. Expensive phones. I mean, phones were expensive, I suppose, but they weren't like unreasonable amounts of money. And because Apple had come around and sort of standardized that. So these days, you know, people drop $600-700 on a phone and they're like, yeah, whatever. It's an Apple product. You pay for the quality. But yeah, back then it was kind of unheard of. And then, you know, the games also weren't super easy to access. Changing out a game on the N gauge was essentially like changing out a SIM card on a phone. It's like you'd have to open it up, probably had to remove the battery or some kind of panel, and then, you know, put the slot the game in there. And if you wanted multiple games, you had to. It's like having SIM cards in your pocket or something like that. It's just wasn't super easy to manage. So the idea at the time died on the vine. But, you know, like I said, it's essentially what would go on to be the norm, so I'm trying to see if I can, like, jump over. We've seen that you can, like, hop from continent to continent without touching the water, but I think they probably would have planned ahead and not made this possible. I don't think we're going to be able to do that anywhere here. In fact, we're stuck. I think there's an invisible wall there, yeah. Nope, just far enough. Alright, well, we've kind of been around the entirety of the centric continent, and I'm not seeing anything, so I have no clue where we'd want to go. It sort of sucks, because, oh hey, there's a little beach here. A beach right into the mountains. Can I get off here? I can. Can I walk through here? Let's see. Mug it up. Mugging made item, like crafting material collection very, very easy. I don't remember if I got that on stream or not. I probably didn't. But it's been very, very handy. For whatever reason, this thing might not have anything, although usually when they don't have items, it just says, has nothing. So, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but usually I get something pretty quickly. Hey, there we go. 8 sharp spikes. See, now it says has nothing. There we go. I can walk through here. I'll be. But I don't think this gets us anywhere, like, super interesting from the looks of it. Unless we can cross over... Oh, hey, I was looking for this guy before. He's got good items. Unless we can cross over to the Esthar, I don't really see that this is much of a benefit. Those Betrayal Swords were really good. And I needed those specifically for Squall, for his current weapon. Bit of a bastard though, he's got some decent spells usually, and it takes a lot of damage too. Got his card. As we learned, I think, during the last stream, usually card conversion into items yields something different than whatever they're carrying. But it can still be handy, so it's not a bad idea if we can collect them. The only thing is, I'm just not getting any experience from the battles. It's only one enemy, though. I can't imagine they'd give me that much. You know what I'm going to do here? I think it's Squall will have this ability, but I'm going to take it off initiation. Let me do encounter none for right now. We did learn that ability. I just kind of want to look around here and see if there's anything going on. Yeah, it doesn't really look like there's anything to do here. And if we could cross the mountain range, we could probably get into, like, Esthar. Maybe. I don't know if the continents are specifically connected. Sort of doesn't look like it, but... Oh, you get into this big desert. What the hell is that? There's something in the distance, too. Oh, I think I know what that is. I think that's the Cactuar Island. Those little green things are the Cactuars. But we need, I think we need the real airship before we can get over into there. I don't know what this desert is. The desert might have some interesting enemies. I'm just not really looking for, like, enemy to, like, catch or whatever. Uh-oh, what the hell? I'd encountered none, so... This is like a scripted thing? That's kind of what I was afraid of. Oh, shit. I forgot off stream. Oh, man. Off stream, I saw the UFO. I completely forgot about it, though. I did take a picture of it. At least we got this one on... He was carrying a pyramid. At least we got this one on stream, though, so that's good. I walked outside of that village. I think it's called Windhill. We had only seen it with Laguna in the past. But like walking like right in front of that village for the first time, I got into an encounter and I was like, okay, it's pretty close here. It's probably slipped up and got into something. But no, a UFO passed by and it was carrying a cow with it. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know this game had that kind of encounters. But that's the second one. So I wonder if you just go into like unique areas, if you just end up finding different types of UFO encounters. Each continent probably has one, would be my guess. Okay, kind of a problem here. I don't know where the ship is. I think it's over here. I'm gonna go in real quick. I should have done this when we had gone inside earlier, but I think I'm gonna go see if Renoa does anything. Just thinking about what, like, both of the characters... Well, okay, Zoo didn't say anything, but if you talk to Quistis, she's like, oh, Renoa's in the infirmary. The problem is, I think don't you start off Disc 3 in the infirmary? Or at least it's kind of close to the first start-off point. It's like you see Renoa in the bed, and then Squall, like, says something. Maybe he doesn't say anything, he just, like, gets up, and he's like, alright. But the fact that Quistis mentions it, I have no clue where to go. I think I might just see if she's doing anything, or if she maybe gets up, maybe there's, like, a scripted event or something. Let's see. Well, something's happening. Renoa, you feel so cold. Are you going to be like this forever? Isn't there anything I can do? You are so full of life. Now you don't even make a sound. I want to hear your voice. It's like talking to a wall. Renoa, call my name. Well, that's something. That's more than we've seen happen yet. So even if it... Oh, hey. What? We can choose who to... Okay. Here, I'll do Selfie as Kyros since she had, like, the healing stuff. I guess it didn't really matter. Since we could do a junction exchange, but whatever. Okay, so we have a Laguna sequence. So that was what you needed to do. So I was right. I mean, you always have to follow what the party members on the bridge tell you to do, but it just seemed like we had just seen Renoa, so it didn't seem like it would be a thing to go back to her so quickly, but I guess that's what you gotta do. Why the heck do I have to do this? Because we have no money. Alright, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's kind of my fault that we stayed at the hotel so often. But heck, I'm not cut out to be an actor. So you say, but we know you're really quite excited. Okay, everyone, take your positions. Oh, they are actually acting. I didn't know what he meant by that. Man, I can't believe this director. Making a movie with me, an amateur. What the heck am I supposed to do? I guess it didn't take off because you figured people would have known that he was in the movies or something. Like, if they were Laguna and they had seen him so often, they would have been like, oh, hey, it's that movie star. All right. So we were lucky I got the job. As long as we make some money, right? Are you serious? What kind of costume is this? No complaining. Let's go. It's just a full suit of armor, come on. Hey, look at you, not bad. How often does the director, like, carry the camera? This is like a low-budget production. This is your co-star, playing the part of the sorceress. Hi, nice to meet you. They're meeting for the first time on the set? All we need now is someone to play the dragon. Usually there's like rehearsals, that kind of thing. And they haven't even found a dragon to play. Oh, perfect. Hey, you back there. Yes? I'm kind of in a squeeze here. The guy playing the dragon is sick. Do you think you could put on the dragon costume and kind of just walk down here? I'll pay you. I guess so. Where is the dragon costume, you might wonder? Okay, just be on standby over there. One of them indie film situations. Maybe this is like the first time something's been filmed ever. They're not used to the process yet. Ah! Okay, people, here we go. Scene 12, Death of the Sorceress. Ready? Action. Oh, Sir Knight, save me from the wicked dragon. Okay. I'll save you from the dragon. Darn it, I'm getting all nervous here. And what's with the gunblade? I haven't used one of these since training. Kinda like this. Hey, not bad. Just put in some voiceovers. Okay, bring on the dragon. Yeah, it's like it's like a hand-cranked camera sound. There's no he said voiceovers. I was gonna say there's no audio, but they're playing like piano in the background like it's a silent film. Hey, come on guys, the dragon. Alright, here we go. Whoa, just like the real thing. Excellent work, heroes. I get the feeling like that's probably not a costume. Wait a minute, was the costume that big? Whoa, Kyros is taking this seriously. Man, looks like the real thing. Ugh! Jeez, take it easy, Kyros. What the? Is this the real? Is this thing real? Is this the real? What? No wonder. What am I doing? I gotta get out of here. Oh, well, Sir Knight, it's all yours. Sir Knight, I must bid you farewell. She ran right through him. Hey, don't just leave me here. It's not gonna let me go. The gunblade. All right, let's go. It's not attacking, so. Some of this music reminds me of something in Final Fantasy IX. Jaunty piano tune. Didn't even land a strike on me. That was my chance. Run! Hey, how'd you get down here so fast? Darn! Stupid dragon, where the heck is Kyros? Laguna, did you call me? Yeah! Wait long enough? Here! Alright, time to kick some dragon butt. At least he had his weapons. Here we go. I don't know anything super special with this. I think I've beaten enough red dragons. Oh, wait, the junction didn't transfer over? What the hell? I specifically chose Selfie because she was already in my party. Whatever. Let's haste it up. Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, these dragons are a little on the tough side, but I don't think they're going to be anything too nasty. Not doing a ton of damage either. As long as I keep sticking to that physical attack, I think we'll be okay. Diablo's been kicking ass every time I've summoned it so far. It does a decent amount of damage to like most enemy types. At least with what we've been dealing with so far, so kind of hoping it remains the same here. Yeah, 4612, not bad. Oof, that hurt a little bit. Do we have any heals? Okay, Cura's good. Cura for Kuros. Don't want him to get downed immediately. He's got like no health since there's no GFs junctioned. Even though I chose Selfie specifically because she had like all the stuff junctioned. But no, not this time around. Yeah, they did give me a second, like an option to look in the menu, I guess, but still. Feel like when you have a party member in your party that had junctions, probably should stick there. I saw this once, I'll go ahead and speed through it. Protect on him now, so hopefully that wards off some of the damage. Let me try Alexander. Alexander should be holy damage. I don't know if it'll do more or less, but we'll see. All I know is Kuros is a bit on the weak side. I think this might be the first time we see Alexander. We had gotten him from the Sorceress, I think, during that boss battle on the last stream, which is pretty late. if we've seen them on stream yet. I've used them once or twice off stream. Such a cool summon, though. It's like a mech castle. Okay, a lot less damage with Alexander. Diablos did a shit ton more. Alexander's a little bit on the newer side, so there's a possibility that that might be because he's a little underleveled. Do I have a life or anything? Guess not. Skip through it once again just to save a little time. Third time we've seen this summon anyway. Oh, come on, not dead yet? I know these guys got a lot of HP, but shit. I don't think I have a way to bring back Kyros there. Yeah, I don't see any lives or anything. Sometimes, like, magic will just go disappearing. I don't know, like, what happens to it. Some of the systems in this game elude me a little bit. But even still, it's like, I specifically remember, and I don't think I traded it off, but I specifically remember Squall having full life. And it's like, where did that go? I didn't use all of it. Maybe I used it, like, once or twice during some boss battles, but outside of that, yeah, I wouldn't have just been using that willy-nilly every time. There we go. Finally. Sorry, Kyros. I assumed you'd have GF's junction, but proved me wrong. Hey, Alexander learned Revive. That's a good one. How many are there? They just keep coming. We're out of here. What is that? In the distance? Looks like something's floating out there. Got a big glowing orb above it. I can't disconnect. What is this connect thing? Is it you, Squall? Yeah. Connect is just what I call it. It's when I use my special power. Oh, I know. I must be asleep. That's why I can't control it. I'm sorry, Squall. Just let me use your spirit for a little while longer. Let me go back. She ain't here either. Hey, it's Edia. If I may ask, what happened to this Eleni? She was kidnapped by Esthar soldiers. I've been traveling, trying all I can to get inside Esthar, but they were looking for a successor to the Esthar sorceress, Adele? Yeah, exactly it. Is she your daughter? No, but she's just so cute. Oh, I wish I could hear her voice. I want to hear Renoa's voice. Is something the matter? No, just the fairies. Shut up about the fairies, goddamn. We're gonna think you're crazy. I don't care if it's in the past or what, I want to hear Renoa. I want to see Renoa. That way there might be a chance to save her. You can't change the past, I just found that out. When I was kidnapped, Uncle Laguna went on a journey to find me. But because he did, Uncle Laguna wasn't able to be by Rain's side when she died. Rain wanted to show Laguna her newborn baby. Rain kept calling out for Laguna, so no matter what, I wanted Laguna to stay in the village. But it didn't work. I could no longer make it back to that moment. And also, I can only send you inside someone I've met before. I'm sorry, Squall. I'm about to disconnect. I'll try again to speak to you this way. Sis, Eleni, I'm overjoyed. I want to hear Noah's voice. I can see you if we go back in time. Maybe even change things. Squall, she just said she couldn't change the past. Eleni! Eleni, can you hear me? Send me back to the moment Renault went into a coma. Eleni, you won't answer me. I know she's on the White Seed ship. White Seed. Idia's Seed. Idia's Seed. Maybe Idia would know the whereabouts of the ship. Well, that's what I was trying to do before, Squall, but apparently she wouldn't give up that information. Then I could see Eleni. Then maybe I can go back. Selfie's at 0 HP. Yeah, she doesn't have anything. All of the GF got like... This is so goddamn frustrating. I hate this shit. They just got taken off because like, oh... Yeah, you didn't actually want them, right? Yeah, I kind of did. Let's see. And it's a shame in the infirmary of all places you can't recover your party. It's like it has to be... I guess I'll just go up this way since I'm already on the first floor, but it like has to be in the dorm. In or a dorm. Those are the only places. Oh, you could use a tent at a save place, I guess. But... still a pain in the ass. Okay. Rest. Let's see, does that... Okay, good. Yeah, while I'm here, I might as well save. We made some progress. Looking good, Squall. You look a little dog-faced, but... you know. Nothing some good cure magic might not be able to cure up. I heard there was like a side quest or something involved with Zell. There's like some girl that's in love with him or something like that. But you need to have him in the party. And you need to be able to find her. I don't know if she's like in the same spot always. Or if like she just pops up at random. But I think the most common place for her to be at is like in the library. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. I think if you finish it, what you get is like one of the magazines for him, so it gives him another potential extension on his combo. Or, you know, another potential move that you can use for his limit break combo, but I don't know. Yeah, that's what I want to know about that White Seed ship. Where could it be? That's what I was trying to find out earlier, but god damn it, they just didn't want me to do it. We had to go through a bunch of stupid sequences of events before we actually got access to it. Alright, well, fortunately we didn't move away from the Centra continent. So, we might be on the other side of it, but at the very least, we don't have to, like, travel all the way across the map or anything. Just gotta show me where that lighthouse is. I wonder if they will explain or if there's lore about this area. Again, it kind of looks like a crater or something. It would sort of be interesting if that ended up being the case. Oh, I see it. I see it. Notice there was a news article, probably trying to rile people up, but they're like, meteors could happen by 2030. Like they could hit the Earth or something like that. I don't know, maybe. You would hope that at this point in time we'd have like some kind of defense for it, but I guess it depends on how big the damn thing is. You would think that you'd be able to detect that kind of stuff early, but who knows? That's what that project, what's it, DART was for though, right? We'll just do that. I don't think any of these are going to be all that great outside the norm, so... Do that. Strength bonus. He could use it. Irving, one of the weakest attackers in this game. And I don't know, maybe I'm not using him correctly, but... At the same time, I have not been able to find any magazines that have any sort of upgrades for any of his weapons. Alright, Edie, lay it on me. Where's your white seed ship, as you so put it? Is there anything at all I can help you with? The white seed ship, the one Eleni's on. Those children they are very cautious. They would never remain in one place for long. I see. Oh yes, however, those children seem to have taken a liking to Centra's landscape. Therefore, they may have stationed their ship by an ancient inlet, by an inlet somewhere on the Centra continent. Oh, that could be anywhere. That's where I've been looking. And Squall, please take with you this letter I wrote. With this, they shall welcome you. Alright, well, at least we have a letter of introduction, I suppose, so... Would have needed that anyway. What is it? What does it say? I don't think I see it. Alright, fair enough. I guess we just have it, so that's good enough. White seeds may be stationed in their ship by an inlet somewhere on the central continent. Well, alright. White seed ship. We first came up with it to protect Eleni from Esthar. Edie served as the captain of the ship, but before long many children were brought on board and became somewhat of an orphanage. Edie taught the children well, and they too were referred to as seeds. Yeah, but you call them white seeds, which is kind of weird. When I think of white seed, I don't know. Makes me think of the sticky icky. I don't like thinking icky things. Hopefully with all that though, despite the fact that I've gone around the Central Continent, because I remember somebody mentioned the Central Continent at some point. So I was looking for the ship there, but I bet you it just didn't exist on the world map yet. And it only just now does, since we went through the course of events. So we'll take a look at the inlets. We'll see if we can find something, but there's going to be a lot of them, I think. Plenty of inlets to go around. Let me take a look at something real quick. Oh, son of a bitch. I didn't mean to do that. Now we're in the water. I had saved a map because the map in the game itself is really shitty and it doesn't tell you where anything is. So I just have to take a look here. So Centra, oh yeah, it is called the crater. Centra, I think, is mostly where the crater-looking thing is. I don't know if it goes to like the outlying spots. But I think if we just kind of stick into that middle area there, then that's probably where it's going to end up being. Because none of the surrounding area is called Centra or anything like that, so... Let's see, though. it's a white ship, you'd think it would stick out like a sore thumb. But if it's like super tiny or something. I remember seeing it. We did see it the one time where we had Eleni on the garden and they had asked for her custody. And I guess they were, but we sort of assumed they were working on behalf of the sorceress, you know, like in a bad light. But I guess they're probably protecting her, because the worst sorceress might be able to get to her or something. Oh. Oops, it fell off the continent. Well, let me go in the interior here and see if we can find something. When is the cooking stream? Word on the mean streets of Twitch is that I make a crazy good bowl of Fruit Loops. Unfortunately, nothing like that yet. We'll see, Desolate. Maybe someday. Oh, hey, there it is. I'm actually not a bad cook. I'm not terrible. Been doing a fair amount of grilling lately, too. I know that's Daler's thing. I did actually employ the Daler technique. He grills up his food, his steaks in particular. I don't think he does it with anything else, but there's a particular technique that he does for grilling steaks. And he's got like a mix. I've seen it. He's posted about it before in his little Discord thing, but he like preps that shit beforehand. He's got like a mix of, it's like cornstarch, salt, and black pepper. I just do it when I'm just like getting ready to cook. But you pat that thing down dry. You basically cover it in cornstarch, salt, and pepper, and then you pack it in the freezer for about 30 minutes and toss it on the grill. Actually, it works pretty good. Is his technique just putting meat in the grill? Yeah. The idea, and I remember seeing the video, he linked it to me a long time ago. Years and years and years ago, and that video is old by this point. It's probably still on YouTube, though. But the idea is that you dry the meat out as much as possible, so that it essentially doesn't get, like, steam cooked. And then when you toss it on the grill, and, you know, it's heated, obviously there's a lot of air involved when you're using the grills, so it just kind of, like, dries it just enough, but it's still super tender, and you keep most of the moisture kind of locked in without oversaturating it. But it's not a bad technique. I've used it a few times. I was doing it. I popped out a little grill over the winter here. I think I have a better time grilling in the winter than I do in the summer. I hate grilling in the summer because I hate dealing with like bugs and shit. But yeah, I was doing that for a couple weeks back. I need to go back to the local butcher though and grab some meat. But it turned out pretty good. I made some fajitas with the second steak that I cooked. That was like the best damn fajitas I've had in a very long time. So I want to do it again, but I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. But yeah, it's a good time to grill. It's nice. There's the white seed. We meet again. My name is Squall. We're seeds from Balaam Garden. I'd like to speak to your leader. I'm in charge. State your business. Depending on what you say, we may ask you to leave immediately. Don't need a butcher to get your hands on some meat. Just put your hands down your pants like Al Bundy on the couch. Well, you ain't lying. That is a thing you can do, but I'm more looking the kind of meat that I could pop onto a grill or, you know, a skillet would be preferable. I mean, you know, who's to say I don't do that all the time? I might do it too much. But every once in a while, we gotta eat. I want to see Eleni. I'm taking that as ellipsis and question mark as like a gasp. We pose no threat. Idia told us that you would be here. Idia? How? Idia is no longer under the sorceress Ultimacia's control. You can put your meat on a grill or skillet. Wouldn't recommend it though. There was a RLM video. I Oh boy, I wonder if it got taken down at this point. It was for... God, I don't remember if it was for High on Life or if it was for actually for Rick and Morty. Both of which I have not experienced in full in a very long time. But Red Letter Media had done a spoof commercial, and there was like a dick grill or something like that. It was like a George Foreman grill, but like Rich was playing like the part of the hapless schlub, and he just whipped his meat out and he popped it on the grill. It was so disgusting. I don't know if they took down that video though. I remember saving it because I was like, oh yeah, this video is probably going to get taken down pretty quick. But it still might be up there. You remind me of that though, and I don't want to be reminded of that. Anyway, she's now our ally, so there's no reason for you to hide Eleni's whereabouts from us. Show them the letter, Squall. Goddamn. We want to take Eleni back to protect her from Ultimecia. Thank you for coming, but we have no reason to believe you. Please leave. Squall! Show them the letter. You got the letter. Oh my god, you asshole. He's like, oh, just believe me, bro. You heard our leader. There's nothing more to discuss. Well, she's got to be on the ship. I mean, I guess she could be an S-Star or something like that. Oh, hey, Watts. Wow, long time no see, sir. Whoa, look who's here. Oh, and Zone, too. The Owls, they're back. Squall, how's it going? Can't believe you're here. Everybody doing good, sir? Well, Renault was in a coma, but other than that. Are you doing Nickelback? See, I'd rather not be reminded of Nickelback either, but I guess we can't help these things sometimes. After you guys left, the Galbadian buttheads came after us. Buttheads? We barely escaped to this boat. I was sure we were goners, sir. Zone went nuts and was thinking about swimming across the sea to escape. Hey, it was a plan. All you were doing was whining like a big baby. Don't lie, you know they had 3 good songs. Photograph not being one of them. Photograph is the joke song. You know what I liked, and it's not technically a Nickelback song, but it's a Chad Kroeger and whoever he teamed up with, but Hero. I still like Hero. I loved it when I first got the Spider-Man soundtrack. When was that? That would have been like 2001. That movie came out, and I loved that movie so much. I had gotten the soundtrack, and the soundtrack was... I didn't recognize any of those songs in the actual film. They were probably playing for like 2 seconds in the background. But I loved that entire soundtrack, and Hero... Hero, I think, was like the first track. I listened to it all the time. No, not the Foo Fighters song. It's the other one. The other song called Hero. And they say that a hero can save us. I don't know the lyrics. I'm not gonna stand here and wait. Something like that. It's a really weird music video too, because like the other guy that Chad Kroeger's singing with is like some big fat dude, and he doesn't look like he should be like carrying that voice. But they do it regardless. That was a big song back in the day. There's something reminded me of it recently. Oh, it was like a TikTok video or something from a couple months ago. And somebody had like a Spider-Man toy and like a Minecraft Steve toy. And the Minecraft Steve was like falling to his death. And then Spider-Man came and rescued him and then unmasked himself and kissed him right on the lips. It was good. I don't know if you can still find it now that TikTok's done, but it must be somewhere out there. Nah, I'm good on singing. I'm not big into singing. Anyway, back to the game. We're gonna die, and look who jumped in first. You numbnuts. Man, we're getting spicy with the name calling here. First buttheads, now numbnuts. I don't see how these wackos keep surviving. So, how's Renoa? Where is she? Renoa fought with us against Idia. For some reason, she went unconscious after the fight. She's resting in the garden now. I don't know what happened. We couldn't protect her. I'm sorry. You son of a bitch! What did I say? What did I say, huh? I told you to take care of her. That nothing better happened to her, scumbag. You pathetic lying scumbag. Zone, come on. Easy, sir. Easy. She's not dead. They just don't know what's wrong with her, that's all. Ain't that right, sir? Squall would never give up on her. Maybe I should shower. Do a shower stream. I was like, how dare you, sir? Sing in the shower for us. Yeah, okay. I mean, hey, they allow hot tub streams on Twitch. I don't see why a shower stream would be any different. As long as you keep the camera up a certain degree, we'll see. Am I right, sir? We came here to get Eleni because there's a new evil force after her. If we can get Eleni and Renoa together, maybe we can get Renoa back. Really? C-Zone? I told you, sir. Renoa's going to be fine. You've done a hot tub stream? Oh, okay. Well, congratulations. I hope it went over well. She promised she would be back. She would come back. We all have to free Timber together. Don't worry, sir. All right. But I'm going to say it one more time. If something happens to Renoa again, I swear. Yeah, what? What are you going to do? Make good on your word, Zone. Care for information, sir? I guess Eleni. Is Eleni here? Oh, you mean that pretty girl, sir? She left when some other ships came. What other ships? Who were they? There were some soldiers on the ships. I know I've seen them before. Esthar. They were Esthar soldiers, sir. Why Esthar? What do they want with Eleni? I don't know, sir. But I think she was smiling as she left. What the heck's going on? Damn it. Let's ask about the leader. The leader's usually in the cabin below deck, sir. I guess we'll go talk to him then. First did a hot in-tub stream. It was 117 degrees that day. Cold water in the bathtub, and your roommate made drinks and poured ice into the tub from time to time. Oh, okay. So it wasn't a hot tub. It was just hot, and you were in a tub. Does that count? Here. See, you should have showed him the goddamn letter from the get-go. This is Matron's writing. She really gave this to you. You guys call her Matron too, huh? Yes, ever since we were little. We were raised by Idia too. It was difficult to fight against her, but we did. Fortunately, everything turned out well. Well, except for the whole Renoa being in a coma thing, but you know. Can't get everything right. Idia is no longer evil. She's back to her old self again. The kind matron we remember. Squall, thank you. We owe you and Balaam Garden much. Even our salute is the same. What is that? He curves his forearm into his chest and then touches his fingers to his forehead. Matron told us it hasn't changed since Seed was established. Whoa. Selfie kind of freaking out there. Oh, holy. I'll give it to Irving, why not? So it says in the letter you're looking for Eleni. I'm sorry, Eleni's no longer here. So I've heard, but where is she? Tell me. Remember we picked her up from your garden near the FH coast? Oh yeah, Fisherman's Horizon, that's what FH stands for. Look at all these chillins. What are they doing? After that, we headed east to get away as far as we could from Idia and Galbadia. Before long, we encountered the Galbadian fleet. They had a lot of ships. Obviously, they were searching for us. We should have been more careful. They pursued us in full force. Luckily, we were able to escape, but then our ship broke down and we were stranded. There was no way we were going to let the Galbadians take Eleni. Eventually, the Galbadians caught sight of us, and we had no choice but to prepare for battle. Then an Esthar ship appeared. See, the way it usually goes with, I don't know, it seems to happen a lot in Final Fantasies, but there's like always like this civilization that's far superior or well more advanced, or they were like a precursor to existing societies that were on the planet. I get the feeling that's kind of what Esthar is. We've seen them a little bit. We fought them in the past during a Laguna flashback, but I think that's all we've seen of them. Otherwise, it does look like they have some sort of technologically advanced, I don't know, at least force field or something, because we were trying to get in from the northern part of the continent and they just wouldn't let us go in. Sort of. I wouldn't say that applies to every Final Fantasy game, though. There's a sort of Final Fantasy that carries over with particular themes. Obviously, you have different characters that retain names from other characters that are throughout the series, but I would say that especially during this time period, maybe not so much the games prior to this. I think 6 maybe was kind of like a big turning point, but 7, 8, and 9 are incredibly distinct to the point where, like, in particular, this one, in Final Fantasy VIII, it feels so different from the rest of them. It almost doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game. This feels like maybe, this is like an independent from somebody else. Final Fantasy IX goes back to kind of the traditional formula that was kind of set up in the earlier ones, so it is distinct from 7 and 8, just because those went so wildly off course. And then, like, 10 is a lot more different, too, because that kind of follows... I don't know, it's kind of like... I like the story in 10 a lot, because it's almost like breaking the cyclical nature of things. And, each... 7, 8, 9, and 10, I think, are great. They're all fantastic Final Fantasies. They all feel very distinct. And, yeah, they do have some similarities here and there, but I think as far as, like, the theming and the plot lines go, they're all very, very different. Are you doing the Tidus laugh? Yeah, there's always going to be a Cid in all the games, but, Battle began between them, and we were caught in the middle of it. 10 is an excellent game. I don't know if you hate 10 by saying the laugh is all anyone needs to know about 10, but 10 is an excellent game. I think it's one of the greatest RPGs made. Has an excellent magic system or ability system with the sphere grid. The characters are all very distinct and memorable. The story, again, is great. I think, the story about, like, breaking the cycle is something that isn't present in a lot of other Final Fantasy games. It might be like a sort of like a trope that's sort of common with Japanese media, I feel. But applied into, like, the Final Fantasy universe, I think they did a great job with it. The summons are great. I like all the villains and characters. Seymour, such a snide bastard. But yeah, I think 10 is an excellent game. It's up there. I mean, I'd say my top 3 in no particular order is probably like 9, 10, and 7 maybe. But I would need to go back and play some of the other ones. I'm replaying 8. 8's got some problems with it, but I'm really liking a lot of the gameplay with this one. 6, it's been a long, long time since I played it. 12 I really like. I replayed 12 recently, but I just think that one's got some problems that definitely don't make it probably even in the top 5 or anything. But it's still a good game. The only Final Fantasy that I will say that I dislike and hate, and Daler would agree with me on this one. You talk to Daler about Final Fantasy 13, he probably shares the same opinion, because I know we've talked about it before, but Final Fantasy 13 is awful. It's a terrible, terrible game. I have kicked around the idea of going back to it to play it again just to see if it's as bad as I remember, but I played it. It came out in, like, God, when was that? It would have been like 2010-ish, maybe, somewhere in the early 2010s. And, I was an adult by then. I was in my 20s. So I think I had a good head on me on what I consider to be good and what I consider to be bad. But I don't know. I've thought about going back and just trying it out again just to see if it's really as bad as I remember, but I did not like that game. That's the only Final Fantasy to date where I really hated it. Even, like, 15 wasn't great, but I liked moments in 15. 16 had a lot of problems, but I thought it was a big step up even from 15. So, I don't know. It's like all the Final Fantasies got something in them. They're not all fantastic games, but, like, 13 is the only one that I really don't like. It wasn't a great game from what I remember. Anyway, back to the game. Jubei, hey, how you doing? Welcome back, sir. Good to see you. Then something strange happened. The characters all feel like tropes in 13. Yeah, they all felt like really shallow to me. We talk about like the characters like in every preceding Final Fantasy up to that point were all so distinct and memorable for me. I love all the characters in 10 and 9 and even 8, replaying 8. I told you this was a character-focused game. I'm really liking a lot of the characters in this one. 7, obviously, had some great characters. Everybody remembers everybody from Final Fantasy VII. But, yeah, like 13 was so bad. I think it really was like a lack of characters and like a lack of story. One of the things that pissed me off with Final Fantasy 13 in particular was like they expected you to go back. They were trying that shit, which I think they tried in Metal Gear. I remember they tried that for Metal Gear Solid 5. And it's like, instead of having the story like presented to you up front, it was like, oh, we'll just have it as logs and you can go back and read it whenever you feel like it. And then you'll get caught up. I don't want to do that. If it's got to be a cutscene, it's got to be a cutscene. I don't care if it's like a 2-hour long cutscene, but like present the story to me in a traditional fashion. Don't expect me to go back and read a log so I know what the hell's going on, when something's actually happening. There's like all this shit going on in Final Fantasy 13. I'm like, what is this? And then I finally figured out like halfway or later through the game, I started looking through the logs and I'm like, oh, that's why this character hates this character. Or, oh, that's why this character has this issue. And it's like, you have to go back and read those logs. The story does not present itself up front. It's so annoying. So I don't know. They were trying something really different with Final Fantasy 13 and I don't think they succeeded. Even the sequels, I never played 13.3, but 13.2 was such a better take at the kind of world that they had there, but boy, that game was a mess. Well, I just like talking about video games and stuff, so the problem with this is if this was like another type of game, if I was playing Fall Guys, I'd be making a lot of progress in the game itself because I could do both, but the problem with a game like this is I have to read out the dialogue and everything, so it's like if I start talking about something, it's like I have to take a pause for the game because I have to read the dialogue. It's what I've been doing up to this point. So, also I'm doing good, Jubei. Good to see you though. Get reading to explain the story lore instead of making it part of the active gameplay. Just making the player read is lazy, like Elden Ring and those games. Yeah, From Software is big on doing that. A lot of the lore is like in the item descriptions. And I do feel like the story is so trim in From Software games, for the most part, that you don't need to necessarily know what's going on. It's just like, oh, am I making progress through this map? Oh, there's a boss. Okay, beat it, done, go on to the next thing. I don't think the story is as imperative. When it comes to a Final Fantasy, though, and you actually still do have like characters and cutscenes, yeah, you should probably be explaining who these people are and why they're there. Don't just expect people to read up on it. The soundtrack in Final Fantasy 13 is excellent. I've had it in my music library for the longest time. I always go back to it. It's a fantastic soundtrack, and it's very different from something that Uematsu would compose. But I do think it was an excellently made soundtrack. It's just at the service of a shit game. You think From Software is just lazy, wants to make the player base make up the story? There's a semblance of a story there. Once you actually see it all doled out and you can look through like the item descriptions, you could tell that they have ideas and that there's a semblance of something there. It's just that those games are so focused on the gameplay as opposed to, the story elements that I do feel like it's almost like story's optional. If you want to go through and read it, it does make sense if you can piece it together. It's not like it's up to interpretation in a lot of cases. Problem is that you have to actually go back and read it. It's not one of those things, again, that's presented to you up front. So it's annoying, but at least it makes sense, if you do manage to piece it together. 6's OST is the best. It's been a long time since I've listened to Final Fantasy VI's soundtrack. I do remember it being pretty good, but Uematsu was on a roll for a lot of those games. He's such a great composer. In the 90s up to about the early 2000s. He started to kind of lose it a little bit, unfortunately. I don't know if it was just like, I don't know. I think a lot of artists and stuff, once they get to a certain age, it's like they either give up or they try too many new things or something happens. Maybe they just don't have it anymore. But it's like in so many different factors. It's like sometimes they tend to just kind of like lose it after a certain period of time. So you see it happen with filmmakers, great filmmakers from their youth. It's like once they get to their old age, they're kind of not there anymore, or they make like weird shit. Uematsu, like some of his later soundtracks, I mean, I think he said he was going to retire recently, but yeah, some of the latest stuff I remember listening that he did, I didn't really like it. I got Fantasy Life on 3DS specifically so I could listen to his soundtrack. And it's like, oh, it's not that great. Even, what's it? Araki is the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure artist. It's very dynamic, such a great, like, artist when it comes to, like, physical form and bodies and everything. And it's like in his later age, like the stuff that he's putting out now, it's like everybody looks the same. There's like nothing looks distinct. There's no diversity. It's just like everybody's got the same face and the same build. It's really weird. I don't know. Age is a terrible thing, I tell you. Anyway, back to the game. Suddenly an Esthar ship came up beside us and Esthar soldiers came aboard. They told us to get aboard their ship. It sounded like an order to evacuate. Yeah, look at them in their spacesuits. Of course we refused. We didn't trust them, just as we didn't trust the Galbadians. As the Esthar soldiers were trying to convince us, the battle became more intense. Soon they were forced to leave our ship. That is true, but I feel like that's more of a case desolate with like Western artists. I feel like when you have these Japanese-made games, especially from that time period, that like in the 90s and 2000s, it was so much more reliant on the actual composer. There might have been input from producers, but it's definitely not the same scene in Japan and the East as it is kind of like in a Western market. A Western market is so meticulous. That's why, I don't know, I hate to be like one of those guys, but you don't always hear like the most distinct or unique things when it comes to like Westernized soundtracks. It's usually trying to replicate something else, very derivative, or just kind of trying to fit like a status quo. And you don't really get those like tracks that really shine. Unless it's like an independent company or something like that, or a very small company where they have stuff where they can kind of go a little bit crazier with that. But when you have like these bigger AAA companies, particularly the ones in the West, yeah, you would probably get to a point where they'd be a little bit more boxed in. So the whole 2010 Western period of orchestra soundtracks drove you up a wall. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. A lot of stuff always sounded the same too. Kind of a pain. As their ship was pulling away, Elena yelled out something. Then all of a sudden she jumped onto their ship. That wasn't much of a jump. It looked more like of a tumble. But okay. It wasn't like her at all. Hey, Lyra. Welcome in. Final Fantasy VIII, we're getting through it. I get the feeling like we're in the latter half of this game, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I played this. To this day, I don't understand why she did that. After that, Esthar's fleet withdrew from the battle and fled. But Uematsu, his soundtracks, every single one was super distinct. Like, you could pull up any given track from any of the soundtracks, you could tell right where the soundtrack was placed in. I can't anyway. I mean, I guess that wouldn't count for people that haven't actually played the games, but you know, you wouldn't be able to tell anyway. But each game sounded very distinct. They're as distinct as their characters, as their settings, like I was talking about when it comes to the Final Fantasy series in this time period, kind of in like the later half of the 90s into the early 2000s. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are such unique and distinct games, and I think right along with that, the soundtracks are tailor fit for each one of these games. I like being interactive with the chat, man. I do like playing a game too, but I like talking back and forth, you know. I got a lot of opinions on games. I'm very passionate about a lot of stuff, like especially from this particular time period. So If I get a chance to share it or I get a chance to have a discussion with somebody about it, I'm going to take the opportunity. After the left, well, it's a long story. It's a long story already, sir. After our ship is fully repaired, we plan to go to Esthar. Sorry, Squall, we couldn't protect her. So, Eleni's in Esthar? We believe so. Long story? Please keep telling us. We've already been talking for so long, I know. I keep getting interrupted. Sidetracked on all my non sequiturs. Have you decided on a destination? Esthar. Oh man. Xenophobic Esthar. That area's terrain is not really suited for flying the garden. Anyway, set course for Esthar. I don't care. Do it. But how do we get there, though? That's the question. The Esthar continent is surrounded by a huge mountain range. It's literally hidden away by the mountains. There isn't much contact with the outside world. That's why they're called the Silent Country. Can't believe we're going to Esthar. Those soldiers give me the creeps. I mean, I guess, but I don't really know how to get in there. We did see that there was kind of an entry point on the side. I didn't know if we can actually get to Esthar from that point. But we can try to get into the mountain range up on the side there and then maybe see if we can, like, sneak in. But that so far, that's the only thing I've seen where there was a potential to, like, actually get into the continent. That was kind of around here. In fact, while we're kind of like on the ocean side of things, why don't we take a look over on this side and see if there's actually a connecting point? Because if there's no connecting point there, then it's not even worth trying. We'll see, but if there's no point that actually connects from what I would guess is the Centra continent into Esthar, then that's probably not the way in. We could try from the north. I mean, maybe we can try going back to Trabia and seeing if we could somehow get through that force field or something like that, but I don't think that would be a thing either. No, I don't think it connects. I don't think it will end up getting us there. Yeah, that's the desert that we saw. Okay. Yeah, and there's this big ocean gap here, and it looked like I had to go there on foot if I wanted to go into the desert portion. I couldn't bring the garden through. It was just too tiny a gap. So, we have to find a different point, but where that point would be, I don't know. So far, the only thing that looks like it has any sort of connectivity is that spot in the north, so I think I'm actually just going to head up there, and we'll see if we can get in, or maybe there'll be a cutscene or something. If not, we got some more time to waste, I guess. Anybody else want to talk about Final Fantasy while we're on this long voyage? Hang on a second here. Maybe I can get in through this little side path. Let's see what we got. Nope, I don't think so. But with Final Fantasy VIII, I haven't talked about it in a minute, so I don't mind reiterating it here. But Final Fantasy VIII is, from what I've always seen, a very divisive game. I have so many friends that love Final Fantasy VIII, and as a kid playing it, I never liked it really. I like parts of it, and parts of it stuck with me that I remember, but for the most part, I just do not have good memories of this game. You wish Australia had better internet so you could play 11 on release? Oh, 11 seemed like such a cool concept back in the day. It really did. I would have liked to have played it myself, but, you know, I mean, US doesn't have great internet either, man. Especially where I'm at. We had dial-up, I think, in the area. We didn't get cable internet until, I'm trying to think here, maybe like late 2000s up into the 2010s. Cable internet was not a thing that was easy to come across. Yeah, 11's still active. One of our good streaming friends, Haikiri, actually plays 11 still. He plays it with his grandmother. And I think Vale plays too. But they still do a little bit of active Final Fantasy 11. Also, opinions on Chrono Cross. Your opinions of the music track, Scars of Time, is the best thing about that game. I love Chrono Trigger, and after streaming Chrono Trigger on a physical copy that I owned from Super Nintendo last year, I think it was. Yeah, it was last year. I've wanted to play my copy of Chrono Cross. I just haven't gotten around to it. We've been doing so many goddamn RPGs, and these games take so long. And I only stream 3 days out of the week. And to me, that's not enough time. I can't get through all these many RPGs in a quick enough fashion that I could just be doing RPGs all the time. I will say that as far as my backlog go, I'm not even joking, probably like half of it is RPGs. And I guarantee you I'm not going to be able to get through those in my lifetime unless I retire super early and just play games. Or hey, if you guys like make me a bunch of money on Twitch, maybe I can turn this into my full-time job. It's not ever going to happen. A man can dream though. The gauge is going berserk. This is what we were talking about before. This looks like it's the only other entry point into Esthar. But every time you try to go here, the gauge goes berserk, and then the garden just kind of gets forced out. So I can't do anything with that. I don't know if we can walk up to that or what. Let's see. Doesn't look like it. You started watching a breakdown of Cross's battle system. It's overly complicated. It looks like one of those games, and I know it's got like the 50 million characters that you could potentially get in your party. That stuff fascinates me. I remember watching a streamer play it a good while back, and it just looked like such a fascinating game. Had nothing to do with Chrono Trigger, barely, but it still looked like an interesting game, one that I would play, and I love stuff from like 6th gen. Love a lot of the classic games that are on PlayStation 1 in particular. So many great hits and hidden gems and stuff, but yeah, it's just there's a lot, and RPGs tend to take a decent amount of time too, so it's hard to commit that much time to it. You know that student always dozing inside the garage? A couple days ago I asked him why he looked so happy. He told me he went up 1 rank in his dream. Can you believe that guy? The money you make off Twitch just helps offset the cost of stuff you buy for the stream. Such a small chunk, getting that $50 a year, but it's nice. Yeah, I know the feeling. At this point, like even getting the partner status is, and I know they reduced the requirements over the years of what it used to be, but it's like, it's so hard to kind of break into that. You have to go above and beyond, and then even at that, it's like, it's a lot of luck. But there's a lot of things you need to do if you wanna start making money off of Twitch and call it a job. And you know, all but 5% of people streaming on Twitch are gonna be in that position. So for Trabia students to become Seeds, they have to pass the written test in Tea Garden and then transfer to Balaam Garden. I already passed the test, so you've been permitted to go to Balaam Garden anytime, but yeah, I don't care anymore. I'm gonna stay here and work for Trabia. You don't think I'll be retiring ever unless something drastic changes? I mean, yeah, there's like Social Security and everything, but I don't know. I don't really know what it's like down in Aussie land. But I definitely get the sentiment. I'm trying to see if anybody here has got any information on that Esthar, but it doesn't really look like it. Say something controversial, you clip it out of context, post it to Twitter for rage bait. Well, I don't know if I want that kind of attention. Also, okay, Desolate, you have a good night. And pleasure talking with you. Hope to see you on another stream, but you take care. I don't think anybody in Trabia is going to be any help here. This is one of those things, though, and it's like, I was talking about why I'm going back and playing Final Fantasy VIII. I remember just like not having the greatest time playing this game. Had it not been for all of my friends saying, oh yeah, Final Fantasy VIII is so great, it's the greatest of the PlayStation games, and this, that, and the other, I probably would have, you know, maybe even just like 10 years ago would have said, oh yeah, that's like the other shitty Final Fantasy right next to Final Fantasy 13. But so many people love this game that I've wanted to go through and play it again. And I've been having a good time playing and streaming this. I can definitely see the points where I would have been frustrated with it, especially as a kid. There's so many moments in this game that are incredibly vague. And unless you're like paying specific attention to what's going on, what characters are saying, which is, you know, sometimes hard to do as a kid, it could be very difficult to kind of navigate around and figure out what you're supposed to do and who you need to talk to. And even aside from that, it's like there are moments in this game that just they make you wander around sort of aimlessly. That whole section when we had to go, actually it was right in here in Balaam, when we had to wander around in Balaam trying to find the captain who ended up being like Raijin and Fujin. That was frustrating. There was a lot of moments where we had to like go around the same portion of the map over and over and over and over and over again. And it's not like we were spinning our wheels, not making any progress, but it was like, that's what you had to do. It's like the prison section. You had to go up the prison, then you had to go down the prison. Then you had to separate the parties, and one party went up the prison and one party went down the prison. And then sometime you met in the middle in the prison. It's just like this loop-de-loop fashion of how they make you navigate a map. It almost feels like one of those things where like they were stretched for time and they're like, okay, we got to figure out how to make this game longer. What can we do without adding new content? Oh, just make the player run around on the map 50 times over? Okay, sounds good to me. And then that's what they ended up doing. But I don't know. I'm not into that. Some people might get a kick out of something like that, but it certainly ain't me. But, you know, comparatively speaking to the game as a whole, that doesn't happen too often, so I don't think it's really as much of an issue. But yeah, it's still not fun. I still don't dig it. Let me see if the people have anything to say. Esthar Cotton is surrounded by a huge mountain range. It's literally hidden away by the mountains. There isn't much contact. Okay, that's why they call it the silent country. I believe we're going to Esthar, so just give me the creeps. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Just in case, because I don't know if it's going to be the same kind of thing, but I'm going to go see Renoa again. Maybe something will happen. We'll see. And then if that doesn't happen, then I'm at a loss. We have to like force our way into Esthar somehow. You know, there was the thing I had mentioned before. It might be possible to get in there from Fisherman's Horizon because there was a track and there was a station. So if Renoa doesn't do anything, I might go there next. We'll see. Renoa. Oh, look. Something's happening. Let's go, Renoa. Time to meet Elodie. Okay, here we go. Elodie will bring us together. Sorry, everyone. Wait, Squall, what are you... I can't go on like this. No, but you can't go on like that either. You can't just, like, walk outside the garden and just, like, carry Renoa to somewhere. Oh, hey! We're here! This is exactly where I was talking about, but we weren't necessarily there yet. It's a bit far, but we'll make it. Squall, you're being stupid and over dramatic. Why don't you just tell everybody, hey, why don't we take the tracks? See, that's one of those things, though. It's like, how do we get into Esthar? And nobody will say anything or tell you any sort of method that you can use to actually get there. It's just, you kind of have to, you piece it together and it makes sense when you piece all the clues, but it's like, it's so frustrating. It's pretty far. Didn't think it would be this far. What am I doing? And that's not the first time something like this has happened. There's been times where I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It doesn't look like anything's happening the way it's supposed to, so I guess I'll just wander around, and then I'll wander around, and then eventually I get fed up and I like try to leave the area I'm in or something like that. And it's like, once you get to that point, it's like, oh, that's what you had to do to trigger the events. And it's like, well, when I'm at my wit's end, and that's how you like progress a game, that can be a little bit frustrating at times. But hey, maybe that was the intention. Go to Esthar, find Eleni, talk to Eleni. But there's no guarantee that everything will be resolved if I talk to Eleni. Even so, I sure have changed. You sure have, Squall. The old you never would have carried a girl on his back across continents. I wonder what everyone's doing. Probably looking for you. Probably laughing at me. Maybe they're angry. What do you think? Tell you the truth, I worry too much about what others think of me. I hate that side of me. That's why I didn't want anyone to know, or to get to know me. I wanted to hide that side of myself. I hate it. Squall is an unfriendly, introverted guy. Hey, he's just like me. It made it easy for me when people perceived me that way. That's a secret between you and me, got that? What if she, like, has to use the bathroom or something? How do you account for that, Squall? Or Noah? Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna keep going. Oh. How did you guys get here? Squall, you're late. Is the princess still asleep? She might wake up with a kiss from a prince. Is that why you came all the way out here, to tell me that? You're going to Esthar, right? We're coming too. We're Edia's escort. I would love it if we could get into battles and Squall just had to like stand in the battle screen with Renault on his back and not doing anything. Let us be on our way, Squall. Oh, here she is. Just toss her over there. I just imagine Squall like slamming her down on like a sack of potatoes. We shall leave as soon as we're ready. What business do you have in Esthar? I must go see Dr. Odine. I'm going to say that's Odine and not like Odine. Odine? Dr. Odine. You've heard the name, right? I have heard it. I just don't remember where I heard it from. Yeah, I remember. But why do you need to see him? Sorceress Ultimacia is still alive. She's able to take control of my body at any time. If that were to happen, I would once again bring terror. Well, it'd be a goddamn problem if it happened while we were, like, escorting your ass over there, I feel. I, too, value my well-being. I want to protect myself. If it were possible, I would like to rid myself of the sorceress's power. Dr. Odine may know a way. He may be able to save me. I understand. Let's all go to Esthar. Can't get like one of them like hand crank trolleys or something like that. We actually have to walk this thing. Oh hey, the others of our party. Yo, they're back. The two of them went to take a look. How's it going, Squall? Slapped Renault on the ass. Is Renault still asleep? Psst, 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 psst. Renault is so cute when she's asleep. Slaps it again. Whatever. So how is it? Can we make it to Esthar? Oh, are you blushing? Selfie, don't make Squall angry. Estar's on this continent, right? It's supposed to be huge. I don't know why, but I can't seem to find it anywhere. I mean, how long were they gone? Like a couple hours? Went on top of a mountain range or a hill or something like that. Nope, can't see it anywhere. You might have to walk a little bit further. Couldn't find it up north or down south. Let's try going east next. Ah, yes. Oh, we have Edie in the party? That's weird. Yeah. As tempted as I am to have her in the party, I don't know if I want to. Let's just do it for the novelty, I guess. However, I still... Yeah, like, Selfie's underleveled. I can't be going around with these underleveled people. It's embarrassing. So junction that, junction that. And then let's just make sure that they actually junction stuff this time. Okay, and they're not lying to me like that one time. Do attack. Attack and magic. Okay. Good enough for me. And, oh, okay. I guess we can't do that yet. He's still just walking around with her piggybacking on him. Sort of want to take a look around just to see if there's any, like, hidden magazines. This game is so bullshit with that kind of stuff, too. I've already explained earlier in the stream, but there's, like, those magazines that are such huge boons to, you know, whatever you have in the party. It's like either it can upgrade your weapons or it can increase your limit break. All sorts of stuff. And then it's like it's possible to actually miss those things. There have been instances where I feel like maybe it is a possibility that I actually missed out on a couple key items. Here we are, east. Hello? I don't see a city. Looks like we're in for a long trip. Everything will be alright. I'll be by your side all the way. Thank you, Zell. But remember, you must stay alert even in my presence. As long as I can be myself, everything will be fine. But if Ultibicia gets inside me again, you all know what to do. Yeah, beat your ass. What? Did I miss something? Uh-oh, it's so quiet. The air's getting heavy. Guys, what's wrong? Come on, we're all together again. We're gonna bring back Renoa. It's like a picnic. We're gonna have fun. Somebody once told me that if you mention bad things, they'll come true. I know it's a silly superstition, but right now I want to believe it, so let's not talk about it anymore. Yeah, shut up. I just changed my party. I'm not gonna change it now. Ooh, I got paid. Interesting looking place. Oh, here we go. I have no idea where I'm supposed to go, but I guess I'll just wander around until we find something. Ah, hands! I love hands. You know what? I probably should have had draw for her. I don't even have magic for her. Can't turn into a card. Yeah, I like that attack there. Wise guy. I can't even slap that fast. I want to know what they have to steal. Ah! Squeezing the life out of him. Nope. One hand's down. I need to readjust Edia's abilities. Well, I do think that like the card and stuff are actually pretty handy. We'll probably forego that. Oh, a rune armlet. Interesting. That's usually a piece of armor. Final Fantasy VIII, very unique in the fact that it doesn't actually have armor for your characters. You can't equip any sort of armor. All of your stats and abilities and everything is strictly reliant on the Guardian Forces. So I don't even know what a rune armlet does. Has nothing. There they go. Okay. Let me adjust that real quick. We'll go into Edia's menu. Change her abilities around. No. Draw and recover probably are good. We'll do magic, though. I think for selfie, I'm going to get rid of draw, and I'll put item there, just because it is good to have somebody with that ability. Oh boy, here we go again. This is going to be maybe a tough one to navigate, because there might be instances where we're not going to be able to see exactly where we need to go. Press X to jump off. Okay, I guess I will. Nothing but desolate wastes. I bet you if they have a force field or something like that, they probably have one of those deals. This reminds me of something else too. Whoa, what the hell? Oh, okay, yeah, boss battle, sure. Can make a save right here. Just in case. An undead monster. Use recovery-related magic and items. Okay, but I'm going to recover her first. I guess I don't need to do that. Oh, shit. Man, he attacked fast on that one. I bet you Holy would do a shitload of damage. Got a protect in there. There you go. Got a high potion in. Not bad. I wonder if life would work against this guy. Pretty good. I've heard this theme so much over the past few weeks we've been playing this game, I'm still not sick of it. It doesn't work. It's funny, in Final Fantasy X, like I remember that undead Evre boss, like the big flying dragon. I remember if you used like Phoenix Downs and I think Life, it just did like a shitload of damage to it. So they ended up changing their stance on that after a while, but... try a remedy on her. I don't know what her problem is. I don't know what that, like, darkness thing is. It almost looks like it should be blind, but I think blind in this game has the clouds over the eyes. So we'll just use a remedy and see what happens. I don't like how tall he got either. It's kind of weird. Oh, shit. Come on. He knew that Alexander was coming, so I tried to prep against that real quick. 960 ain't a ton of damage, but I'm gonna try it again. No, he's gonna go. God damn it. Oh, not again! And it didn't miss. Third time's a charm. Damn, Selfie could do more damage than Idia can with Cure. He's returned to his normal stance. It's almost here. It's almost time. Alexander should do holy damage if he's just like every other Alexander. The only thing is that maybe his summon won't do a ton, but let's see if it actually has an effect on him. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I was hoping for more. With Diablos, we could get like 4,000 against enemies that are weak to his dark, but it's not terrible. We did actually... Who picked that up? Was it Squall? Somebody picked up Holy. I could probably cast Regen against him, actually. Let's see if that works. Just do like cost of damage, it would almost be like poison. 600? For each turn? That's crazy. Not even each turn, it's like each second. Holy cow. That's the way to do it. Sorry, I'm just flabbergasted by that. Holy hell. Oh, he's dead. I should have done that from the start. I had no idea it was going to do that much damage. I was just kind of cycling through looking for Holy, and I'm like, you know what? Regen probably isn't a bad idea. That's a cool effect. Look at that. Nice, nice, nice. I am floored by how much damage. It was like every 3 seconds, and not even every turn, but like every 3 seconds that passed in the battle. Overlapping victory themes. But yeah, it would do 600 damage. That's insane. Oh lord. There's a weird point where Final Fantasy IX and Final Fantasy VIII's victory themes were overlapping. It did not sound good. We can't use a tent here, can we? No. Can only do that. On the save points. Okay, there was a shitload of abilities learned there. I didn't catch who did what, though. I guess the HP thing is fairly low. Might as well. And almost everybody seems like they're working on something already. Okay, Alexander finally. I want to up his summon magic, because he should be like a high roller when it comes to like doing damage, but I think his summon magic percentage is so far down right now. Doubles the effect of medicine. Not bad, not bad. Who had the auto potion? I think it's Leviathan. So I should probably pair up like Alexander and Leviathan, and that way when they auto heal themselves, they do like double heals. That would be great. That's gonna take a while. I'm gonna focus on getting his damage up for now, and then we'll do the medicinal thing, whatever. Well, that seems suspicious. The hell was that? An AT field? Had the same shape and everything. See, I think they have like a projection of the wastes. I can't seem to interact with anything though. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we just have to wait here. Here it goes. Okay. Yeah, what is all that flickering, Squall? Why don't you do something? Something here. A hole in midair? This looks like the only way. Oh. It's a good thing there's a ladder there. Funky. Touch the panel. What are these transparent panels? I wonder if they have anything to do with the console. Try operating it. OCS display test menu. Color change. Ah. Which color would you like? What can this be? Random. That just did the same thing as the color change option. Ah, there it is. Wow. Look at that. It can make a sky. Basically, this is just showing us their technology, I would assume. Like, oh, it could project images through this glass. Of course, it showed us the stupid rainbow thing and then the cloud twice, so I don't know why we would need to see it again. But, okay. Scoob, welcome back. Thank you again for the raid earlier. I do appreciate it. It was fun playing a little Fall Guys with you. We managed to clean up when we had a squad. Then Kuma and I tried some duos and we didn't do so hot, but you know. A for effort and everything. Where could this be taking us? Everybody's confused. Wonder where we were heading. This is totally weird. Ever seen an elevator before, Selfie? I don't know what I'm doing. Where I am. I don't know if we'll ever get to Esthar, but I don't care. Not turning back now. No, the music's all funky. I think we're safe. The more jovial and funky the music is, the less in danger we actually are. If anything, we'll probably just hit up like a skeezy looking casino. Stopped. Is that it? Looks like we've stopped. Yes, it does appear that we have, Edia. Great observation. Squall, now what? I don't care at this point. Nothing's going to surprise me. What else? Let's go. I don't know about that. He was pretty surprised by that panel back there. Oh. Hey, it's Esthar. What is going to happen now? Wow, pretty. Shut up, cell phone. I was wondering where Edia was. She was conveniently placed in front of Squall. So, for my usual schedule, I try to stream Monday through Wednesday, and I'm pretty good about sticking to that schedule, but every once in a while, it's either I'll have to, like, work, and, you know, I'm finding it's hard to pull away, so I might skip a day. And then if I do skip a day, usually I'll make up on Thursday, sometimes Friday. This last week, I ended up skipping the Wednesday stream because I wanted to put some more time off stream into Final Fantasy VIII so I could do some grinding. But also, we had the release of the second Tomb Raider collection coming out on Friday. So I'm like, I'll take off Wednesday and I'll stream Friday. And I ended up coming back Friday. We did a real long stream then, but it's not usual. I tend to avoid the weekends. I have more free time on the weekends, and more free time for me means I could do stuff with family, I could do stuff with friends, I could do work. I catch up on a lot of work too, with like my commission work that I do over the weekends. So that's usually like a big time for me to pick up on that. So it's usually better that I stick to early on in the week. Street Corner's demanding. Shut up. Ah, you bastard. Judging from their technology, they must know we're here. It's possible we might encounter some hostility, so stay alert. Oh no. No, not now. This isn't good. Diarrhea. Insides churning. Those commissions, what the kids are calling it. I don't know what the kids are calling what. That's what I call it. No, but Edia had my GFs. How the hell am I supposed to get them back? Alright, whatever. Oh, I remember reading a list of items that were missable. And apparently, yeah, if we're in Esthar here, I think, and there's a past section where you go do a Laguna segment, and there's apparently like a magazine that's missable here. The skinny one and the fat one, get your asses down to Lunatic Pandora. You would like one art, please? Alright, hit me up. I cue you in. Calls it commissions, because when he leaves you out of commission. Nah, I ain't that good. You're gonna stay here and work. The rest of you, get back to work. I'm gonna make a quick save here, though, just in case we end up missing that. It's supposed to be a weapons magazine, and apparently it's a weapons magazine that's got, like, some pretty heavy hitters in it. So I definitely want to make sure I grab it. I just got no clue where it's gonna be at. I'm hungry. You, I said no talking. It's only been 3 days, you wimp. When I was young, I worked all day, all night without sleep. I guess we got shooed away. The Moomba and the other guy knows what's up. They're not talking. I think you probably would be hard-pressed to have Laguna shut up completely, though. I wonder if Kiros and Ward are working too. No talking. How many times do I have to... Oh, mealtime. All right, time to eat. You keep working. That's what you get for your big mouth. That beast over there, you too. No meal until your work is done. Hey, you can't be serious. I'll be done in 2 to 3 hours, but his job won't get done for days. He just won't get fed for a few days. If he wants to eat, he should work faster. Bow-legged man doesn't care. He goes to the eating elevator. Come give me a hand. Can't handle the big guy alone. Don't do anything stupid while I'm gone. The camera's watching you. You alright? You look exhausted. Did they feed you alright? Got a fever or something? Or are you just scared of heights? Your stomach's going grr? Ha ha ha, that's funny. I think that thing's grr means thank you. Know what? You're the first one to care about his well-being. These Moombas get worked to death for no reason. They only get half the food and sleep compared to us humans. Maybe they're built for it. Who knows? That's horrible. You need to get out of here. When we get out of here, I'll feed you all the food you want, and you'll get to nap all you want. How's that? You're halfway through Sky Castle? Oh, Castle in the Sky? Laputa? The Miyazaki film? Well, we were talking about that like a couple weeks ago, I think, on your stream. That's my favorite Miyazaki film. That's my favorite Ghibli film, if we want to go for the whole company. It's generally not considered, I think... I mean, a lot of people consider it like a really good film, but I think a lot of people don't think as highly of it compared to like Princess Mononoke or Spirited Away, just because those were so high profile, and people were like, oh, this is art, in terms of like animation. You autism the title, that's alright. Autism a few things here and there. But I feel like Castle in the Sky is such a well-rounded movie, and it's not too deep. It doesn't have like the super heavy themes. It's got a few here and there, but it's such a great like little adventure film, and I think it's so well put together without, you know, being too heavy or too dramatic or anything like that. It's just like, it's a fun movie. So hi Kiri, I did not draw the art and the card. Scoob never sent it my way. He was the only one that had his hands on the card. And he was drinking while he drew that. Haikiri got a card from Scoob. He was signing our names in as we donated during the Haikiri-thon stream that Scoob was doing. But like at $100, he drew a big ol' Wang, and then like at 200 or 300, I forget which. He drew like a lopsided pair of titties. So... But he was half in the bag at that point. He showed us on camera what it looked like. It didn't look that great, but I'd see if I drew it though, you know, they would have been the best you'd ever seen. Also sounds like Kiki's Delivery. You know, it's been a while. I don't remember Kiki's Delivery Service. I remember seeing it early on, but at the same time, I think I was like kind of half watching it too, so I need to go back and see it. I haven't seen all of the Ghibli films. I've seen kind of like the big ones, and I like them all to a degree. The ones that I've seen, I don't think there's been one where I'm like, oh, that wasn't that great. They all have beautiful art direction, animation. I never listened to the American dub. I know they get a bunch of like big name actors for that kind of stuff, but the Japanese dub is always the one I go for. Usually, if I watch a foreign film, I try to watch it in the language that it came out in. But yeah, they still have really good acting, you know, even if it is in Japanese, I can't understand it without subtitles. The one thing I will say is that with the Disney releases, I think they fixed this with some of the later releases, but with the Disney releases, they're the dub titles. So you could, if you know a semblance of like Japanese or something, you could tell that they're not matching up with what they're saying, like what they're actually saying. The subtitles aren't matching up. But I think that Ghibli started releasing their movies independently of Disney, so I think they started doing the subtitles differently if you get like a more recent copy. So, only Ghibli movie you did not love was Nausicaa. Not horrible, but didn't go nuts over it. I like Nausicaa. For me, it's kind of the same. I would think that one's kind of like a little bit on the lower totem of things. I think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. But that was also one of, I think that was Miyazaki's like second major film. His first one being that Lupin the Third movie, which is excellent. But I think that one also had other hands in that one. And Nausicaa was like his second stab at it. I don't know if you watched because I know the American version got butchered. So if you watched it like on VHS, it's probably a lot different than if you watched the original. But I don't know how recent it's been since when you first saw it. But yeah, the American release of that was just like such a train wreck that Miyazaki almost didn't want to release his films in the West after that because they basically butchered his movie. But he did end up coming back for all the other stuff, and he's had a decent partnership with Disney. There was a few times where he had to step in and say, no, you can't do this or that. But for the most part, I think he got his way. Graveyard of the Fireflies. I don't think that's a Miyazaki one, but I think it's a Ghibli produced. So it's not like he directed it, but that company, Studio Ghibli, did produce it. Grave of Fireflies, I haven't watched. Apparently it's very depressing because it has to deal with, the post atomic bomb Japan. And I don't know. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. So, Hi, it's very good to see you also. I hope the card was nice. It was, even though Scoob was kind of like frontlining that there, I think we all still had a little bit to chip in with that. So, but glad you like that. Hope you're recovering fast as well. High School DxD is pretty good. I don't know what that is, but I get the feeling like that's probably not on the same. I better not say anything. What is High School DxD? Is that like No, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Am I thinking of High School of the Dead? I've seen something of that. I think that's the one where I saw a clip where somebody shot a bullet and the girl's boobs were bouncing independently of each other, and they bounced in such a way that the bullet passed through one. They passed under one and then like over another. Is that what that is? Because I've seen a clip of that and I don't think I want to watch that. Yeah, see, I told you it's good. Okay, alright. I don't think that's my kind of animation. Maybe, alone, independently, but Duranson, welcome in. Either way, you're thinking titties. Hey, I've seen a lot of things on the internet, so I know how it goes. But welcome in, good to see you. Yeah, it's not exactly the same, like what people would consider like high art compared to the Miyazaki. You'd watch it if they took High School out of the title. Well, they're all supposed to be of age, apparently, so. I don't know, maybe not. Yeah, I think that's the one where the zombies like invade a high school and all the students, the senior students, like get naked and fight the zombies. Yeah, something along those lines. Pretty typical, right? Anyway, let's continue on with this game. Something's happening. Or maybe nothing's happening. I don't know what we're doing here. Experiment. Let's just do this. Bah! Is a failure. Is he German? Sounds like Dr. Odine's up to something again upstairs. Huh? What's up? You need a tool? I'm right here. Now, I'll go get it. Wait right there. I think there was one here. High School of the Dead is pretty good. Just a lot of fan service. You said Miyazaki, now you want to watch Howl's Moving Castle. Never seen it. Looks interesting. Again, it's one of those things where I'm really attracted to like the animation from what I've seen of it. Scoop said he watched that one and he said he didn't care for that one either. I think. He's the only one that's been talking about Miyazaki recently. I can't think of anybody else. But I think on his stream he said he saw it and he didn't dig it too much. Of course, he just said he didn't like Nausicaa, so maybe I'm misremembering. That's what happens when you think with your boobs. I'm not thinking with anything. Yeah, standing next to the elevator. Go get the guards upstairs. Tell them it's an emergency. Roger that. An emergency? Maybe the guys are up to something? Go now! Alright, I'm going. Oh, I almost forgot. Here, catch. Don't do that, Laguna. Oh no, he's gonna fall. Whoa! Oh, good job, Laguna. You just killed him. Oh, sorry. I feel so horrible. I'm sorry! I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but... What? I'm just so ashamed of myself right now. Don't worry, it's not a ghost. They might be treated badly, but they still put safety cables around them for jobs like this. Why didn't you just tell me that at first? You're such a nice guy. Not many guys like you these days. You seem like you'd be a good candidate to be our leader. A leader? That's right. A lot of us are dissatisfied with the way Adele's been ruling Esthar. Oh yeah, we'll just get Laguna to overthrow the sorceress. I'm sure it'll go over fine. Also, Howl's was not your favorite, but a bit better than Nausicaa. So you're reminded of this, but you remember liking Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy films. You think you watched them around the same time you watched Spirited Away for whatever reason. Probably. If you watched, like, Spirited Away, when they dubbed it and put it out for Western audiences, that was probably what, like 2001, 2002? Early 2000s at the very least. And that's probably about the same time where Del Toro's film came out. I can't imagine that came out any later than 2005. I seem to remember like people talking about it in like maybe middle school for me. So yeah, that seemed about right. Like late middle school, maybe into early high school. We may be disorganized now, but someday we'll gather our forces and remove Adele from power. We're overthrowing the ruler of a country, a sorceress far beyond our powers. Half-baked plan would never work. We're waiting for the right time. Now, most of us involved in the Adele resistance are specialists. It's easy to research ways to fight Adele, but there's no one to lead the movement. That's our situation right now. We've been looking for someone like you, someone who's strong and righteous. Hey, did you go tell them? What are you doing? Up to no good again, aren't you? Stop. Oh, there we go. Haven't seen me cruising a car in this game? We've spent enough goddamn time on the, hey, he stole a high potion from me, goddammit. Spent enough time on the world map doing nothing. I've been driving around in the garden. I don't need no car. The garden can go over land and sea. To be quite honest, the car was such a useless feature. It was like kind of like a paid chocobo service. And I think you can get chocobos in this game. I just haven't bothered doing it. But it's like you could only use it basically on Galbadia. If you use it in Balaam, you can go like 2 feet one direction and 2 feet in another direction, but that's it. Hey, also, where did he get his gun? He's a prisoner and they just let him have his gun? What the hell's that? Don't move. Darn it, I did it again. Well, too bad. Just get on and go. Kiro Sword, great timing. Or should I say, bad timing? Stop talking and just keep walking. It's not so bad. 2 is better than 1, 4 is better than 2, right? So, who's the 4th one? Jeez, are you starting to hallucinate? Yeah, I could see it. Oh, my sweet L. You make your uncle so happy. Hey, now's our chance. You know what to do? Let's just finish him off and get out of here. Before we do that, are we all geared up? I better check, because last time I gave you an opportunity to get into a battle beforehand. It like completely messed up all my everything. It was bad. Oh, let's see. Let's get Quetzalcoatl and Leviathan. Magic. No. Draw item. Magic. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do recover. Magic and auto potion. Going back to Del Toro's Hellboy, so I remember liking those all right. Hellboy, I love Mike Mignola's art style. I've always had an appreciation for high contrast shading, and he's just like, to me, like the premier king of that. And it's like you don't really see a lot of stuff that looks like his. And seeing the movie, I thought they did a pretty decent job of actually sort of, I don't know, maybe not replicating it to a T, but sort of replicating the look of it to an extent. How do I automatically... I guess I can't do auto. Maybe he's not set for it or something like that. But I had... I remember watching the first one and thinking it was pretty good. But the second one, I remember thinking it was a little bit more off the rails. I don't know. There was something where I didn't enjoy it quite as much. It had some cool moments. I think I liked the world that they had in there. But I think kind of as a whole, I didn't really like it as much as the first one. Yeah, you know what? That's probably it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but you're probably right about that. It was more style over substance. And the style was cool. It was a neat looking film, and they did a lot of cool things with it. But... yeah, I just don't remember the plot being as like cohesive or anything like that. It just didn't seem quite as interesting or something to me outside of just the visual. It's weird that, I mean, having seen like Del Toro as a director and what he's done after that, it just seems weird to me that he would do like a comic book based movie. He just, I don't know, he doesn't seem like the type that would do something along those lines. But hey, at least he got to do them. That's probably one of his most commercially successful films, those two movies. Actually, I think the second one didn't do too great. That's probably why they didn't do a third one until they like rebooted it years later, and then the reboot did horribly. Wait, have they rebooted that film series twice? How many times have they done Hellboy films? Is it just the 3, or was there a 4th one I'm not thinking of? I know there's an animated one, but that doesn't count. I'm talking about like live action. They did one which I thought was relatively recently with that guy from Stranger Things, but I thought they did... I almost have like this lingering feeling that they did one after that too, but it almost seems like that would have been too recent. I don't know. Did you watch it though? I didn't watch it. Jailbreak! Yeah, with the guy from Stranger Things. He was I only saw the first season of Stranger Things. I don't remember his name. But he was like the cop that took in 11. Oh, anyway, Ward didn't have any magic, so that's why we couldn't actually automatically set his abilities. But let's see if that does anything. It's scarred up with too many poor reboots. I heard it wasn't great, but I don't, I don't know. Sometimes I'll listen to critical consensus or word of mouth if I'm on the fence about something, like really on the fence about something. Otherwise, I try to formulate my own opinion, but formulate my own opinion also means like potentially wasting 2 or 3 hours, which these days I'd rather not do. Oh, security guard, now's our chance. That is Moon, listen. What? What the heck are they talking about? To use Lunatic Pandora as a weapon, you would need a system to move it. And are you researching that now? How do you come up with such bold ideas? I could never come up with such a brilliant idea. I forgot. Let me go down here. I want to make sure I don't miss that that magazine. I'm pretty sure the magazine is here somewhere, and it's the one that has like all the weapons and shit. So I want to make sure that we didn't miss it by subverting some section here. I'm also going to do a quick save because it seems like we can't actually save in this spot. Can I go down here? No? Okay. So this game is super, super weird compared to other Final Fantasies. Also, like, compared to, like, RPGs in general, but you don't get like armor for your characters. You don't buy weapons from the shop. You can only craft weapons. And you need crafting materials that you get from enemy drops in order to... Shit, I didn't want to do that. God damn it. You get crafting materials from enemy drops, either by looting enemies or by defeating them and having them drop randomly from battle. And the schematics that you get to craft new weapons are also found in like these magazines that you find around the world, of which there's less than a dozen. So you have to kind of like scrounge around. And they are missable, so that's fun too. You can progress beyond points, and I think with this particular magazine, it's only available in this portion of the game. Right now, we're playing as Laguna, which is set in the past of current time events that are going on in the game. So I doubt it would be available if we played as Squall and got to the same point. There was another one. I thought so. And it was live action? Yeah, okay. Straight to VOD, made $2 million. It was last year. Okay, that's why it felt like it was so odd. Because I'm like, didn't they just do a reboot on that? And that didn't work, and then they did this other one. I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with that, but I wonder. It made $2 million, but it's like it went to like a streaming service or something else, right? So who knows? Hey, you waited for me? Stay on your toes. Don't get captured again. Darn it. I promised him a meal and a nap when we get out. Well, I guess he's better off running, free. It's okay. He's also an Adele Resistance member. He's Dr. Odine's assistant. All the hot info about the lab comes from him. The hot info, yes. See a new member? Welcome to our group. You made quite a bit of noise down there. Well, this may be a good time to leave the facility. Did something happen to the doctor? Or did Adele stop funding this lab? No, it's Dr. Odine. He's done it again. He's found a new toy he prefers over a big one like Lunatic Pandora. Some child named Malone. Or Eleni. Revert back to the old way I said it. You know her? Know her. She's really the only reason why we're here. It's horror, apparently. Maybe horror in terms of the quality. I mean, that could be. You never know. I don't know. I would take a look at it if it had a relatively positive reception, but you never know with those kind of things. Horror is I'm really cautious about these days, because there's a lot of people that will say like there's a good horror movie, and I watch it and I just think it's like the biggest piece of shit. So many people like those Blumhouse movies, and I kind of get it. It's like kind of slower, it's slower pace a little bit, but smaller scale, you know, maybe only 3-4 characters in the entirety of the movie, and it might put you on edge or something like that. But I've seen so many movies, it's like a lot of times they do stuff that's really tired tropes, or it's just like too slow moving, or I don't know. I watched that Wolfman movie with a group a week ago or so. That was a big old piece of shit. It was Honto. Honto was in here. He said he saw it like when it first, like the week it came out. And I asked him, do you like it? And he's like, no, it was terrible. I'm like, oh yeah. And it's like after I watched it, I remember, oh yeah, somebody said something about that movie not being great. It wasn't. It was horribly written. You should never, I feel like with a movie, you should never like think of your characters, well, that was stupid. Why did they do that? Or like, why would you say this? Like, you shouldn't be questioning what they're doing. You should be more empathetic, I think, of your characters. But if you're like questioning why they do stuff and saying, well, that was a stupid decision, it's probably not the best writing. And I was finding myself questioning a lot of what the characters are doing all the time. Also, the dialogue is really bad, so there was that. And the acting was pretty terrible, too. And it looked bad, and it didn't sound good, either. I'm just making up the last 2 points, but I don't remember. I don't remember thinking of a highlight of that film, of any of the bits that I saw of it. Granted, I wasn't fully paying attention, but, you know. Where is she? Where's Eleni? Dr. Odine would probably know her whereabouts. So look for Odine, right? We're going back. Thanks for all your help. Better go someplace safe now. Adios. Wait a second, I still owe you. If you're looking for that girl Eleni, you'll eventually need help. Facing Esthar and Adele with only the 3 of you will be difficult. Why not let us help you? We'll provide you with all the information you'll need. It's not a bad idea. We don't know anything about Esthar. I never want to go through all this again. I'm sure Ward feels the same way. Ward lost his ability to talk a while back. Huh? Okay, fine. We'll accept your help. In return, we'll help your anti-Zell movement or whatever. It's Adele. Start listening more closely, cause it's getting embarrassing. Is what Ward would say. Can't you see it in his eyes? Yeah, sure, I always see it. But who cares? I speak with passion, from the heart. That's what matters most. Yes, that's right. It all sounds crazy, but I like you. I really want you to be our leader. You think that is another genre the Eastern markets understand better, though you can't say firsthand as you don't watch them personally? Just horror in general. Horror in the East. It's weird. I've seen stuff like that House movie. I mean, I've seen the original Ring. There was some like monster movie. It's like they can maybe do it, but I think like any psychological efforts. It seems like in the East, a lot of the horror movies rely on special effects, and I think a lot of times they're somewhat poor and they don't really get the points across. Psychological horror usually has more of a lasting effect with me as opposed to like horrific imagery. And I'm not saying like I only ever like psychological horror, but I don't know. It might be like a Western seeing Eastern concepts, but I can't think of like a Eastern horror movie that I've ever been like, whoa, that's creepy. Leave it to me. Once we find Eleni, I'll take up that offer. Well, let me go pay a little visit to Odine. Wait right there. Just based on the premise, trailers, you definitely watch a Korean Jap horror over any Western. Maybe. I would think it would be fascinating, but again, I've watched a few, and I don't know. There's like something. I think there's some sort of disconnect for me, where I've never really felt like, I don't know, whether it's like the plot or something. And again, a lot of the ones I've seen, and maybe this isn't the case, maybe I'm just watching the wrong ones, but it does seem like they go for special effects and horrific imagery more often in Eastern horror, from what I've seen. And sometimes the disconnect is that, just because they're not able to replicate what they're trying to do in the most convincing fashion. So, but I can't say I've watched too many, so it's probably a case of me just not watching the right ones. Darn it, did it again. Why don't I ever think things through before I answer? Well, it's been okay till now. I'm sure things will work out. I'm sure they will. Death found. Okay, Ward, you take that. I don't know where we are. This is the Lunatic Pandora Laboratory. So this is supposedly where the magazine is supposed to be. I'm going to look it up because I really don't want to miss this thing. If I miss this thing, that means we miss out on a bunch of different weapons. Pandora magazine location. Located on the floor in Lunatic Pandora Laboratory during the last Laguna Dream sequence. So it says it's the last one. I don't even know if this is the last one or not. Last Laguna. Okay, I see a picture of it. Okay, it's in that room where we saw Odin before, but there wasn't anything last time I looked in there, so it might be during like a specific event or something. We probably haven't seen it yet, and this might not be the last dream sequence. Conjuring was kind of awful. I'm not a big fan of The Conjuring. I watched that recent Conjuring. It was like a sequel to... Oh, there it is, right there on the floor. Where'd it go? Can't believe it. There it is. Weapons Monthly, the first issue. Oh, thank God. See, I would have seen it had I got in there, but I was just like so concerned that we wouldn't actually see the damn thing that... Didn't occur to me that it would just like be right in front of my face. Let me see what's in it. Hold on. We gotta see what's in this bad boy. The first issue. Ooh, look at that. Looks great. Weapons Monthly first issue. Models the Lionheart. Oh, that's what the Lionheart is. We were trying to figure out on one of the last streams. Thank you. This is a big exciting moment. Apparently, the weapons in this magazine are some of the final weapons for some of these characters, Lionheart probably being one of them. It looks like it requires some maybe hard to get items for it, but maybe not. But yeah, we were trying to figure out on one of the last streams what the Lionheart was. We thought it was the name of Squall's ring or necklace or whatever, but that ended up being like, I don't know, some stupid... It was something that didn't... What the hell is that? It was something that didn't sound right. That looks like one of them, that meme about the biblically accurate angel, even though it's not biblically accurate. The shooting star. FOMO does kill. It doesn't happen, I feel like, in a lot of the Final Fantasies, except for like super rare things. But in this one, it's just like for any given little thing. It's just like, whatever. Oh, there's a magazine that teaches a slightly new combination ability for Zell's Limit Break, but you missed it, so whatever. Or like a card or some shit. It's just like everything in this game, there's like something to miss. It pisses me off. Hey, look, finally, a new gun. I haven't been able to get Irving a new gun ever. Just want something for Quistis. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff. So, we got it. Can't take demons seriously. Also, go back to your comment, like the trope of the girl on the ceiling twisting her head around. I mean, that might be going back to the hell am I thinking of? I just can't think of the name of it. The goddamn movie about the girl that's possessed. The Exorcist, that's what it is. Exorcist is a bit dated, and I think it was one of those things where it had a bigger effect on people at the time when it came out because of the attitude of people. People were a lot more religious back in the 80s and 90s, 70s, 80s, early 90s, you know? So seeing things like possession and, you know, having it being fairly convincing for films at the time, I think had a bigger effect on people than, you know, watching it in the present day. I still think sometimes some of that stuff can be pretty creepy, like visually. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of stuff. Like Hereditary was sort of like that, where it was about like demons and possession. I thought there were moments in that movie that were like really tense and kind of creepy. Sometimes Sometimes I think it went a little overboard, but I think for the most part, a movie like that typically got the point across. Dr. Odine, where's Eleni? Can't believe you guys came back. You fools. But, I don't think I found anything in Stranger Things creepy or horrifying. I think my favorite horror movie of all time, and I don't even know if I think it's scary, but I love the audio design and the visuals. Some of it is some of the shots in the movie I'm thinking of are pretty scary, but the first original Texas Chainsaw Massacre I think is an excellent horror movie. Holy shit, they killed him right on the spot. Do we have anything to stop that? I guess not. I don't have any life or anything. The way that thing moves. But that is possibly my favorite horror movie. I just think, you know, the audio design, the way it's directed, the last like 30 minutes of it are such a trip. But you know, it's an older one, and it's some of the scenes might look a little laughable or something. I remember some of the blood not looking great in that movie, but I still think it's like great as like a tense, almost kind of like action-oriented horror film. But I like some slower paced stuff too. You know, I do love The Shining. I think is a great horror film as well. Some of it's a little weird. It gets a little bit too wacky, but Stanley Kubrick is such a master of cinematography. He can find a way to like make a shot creepy without there actually being too much of anything in it. Kind of amazing the way he actually does it. I'm getting my ass handed to me by these stupid S-Star cards, and all they're doing is just like casting death on me. Did you watch Dr. Sleep, Jubei? I don't think in any way it's comparable to The Shining, but as a sequel, I thought it was a very entertaining movie. I had the unfortunate experience of watching it in a movie theater with just me and like a couple in the background that wouldn't stop talking, and I like actually yelled at them a couple times. But that aside, I still thought it was a great movie. Oh my god, I can't believe I died to these assholes. I wasn't prepared for the sheer onslaught of like death magic that they were about to throw at me. That's okay, we saved relatively recently. I'd watch it. If you like The Shining, I'd watch it. Again, I don't think it's comparable to The Shining. Nobody's ever going to like come close to Kubrick in terms of a director, in terms of filmmaking. But I thought it was a good like follow-up story. Stephen King's a weird guy, but you know, and honestly, a lot of his works are better adapted as movies. Like, I do think The Shining works better as a film. I do think, oh man, I'm blanking on so many names. It must be getting late. Shawshank Redemption. I think The Shawshank Redemption makes a much better film than the actual book was. So I almost like him as like a screenwriter more so than I do appreciate him as like an actual novelist. And yeah, he has his opinions. The reason why he probably liked it is because, you know, I don't know, maybe it was closer to his vision, but also at the same time, his vision I think is inferior the way some of his movies or some of his novels get adapted into film. I didn't even bother with Dark Tower. I liked Dark Tower as a novel. That's one of the few Stephen King novels that I've actually read. I haven't read the whole series, God no, but I love the concept of it. It's kind of like the man with no name in Lord of the Rings. sort of, just to like boil it down to the bare bone minimum. But yeah, I read the first one, and when I kind of saw like the trailer and stuff for the movie, and I'm like, ugh. And then, you know, basically the reception wasn't that great for it either. I'm just like, I'll probably pass on this one. So I never even bothered with it. Also, it was more true to the books. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, I guess that's kind of the nice thing about a TV version of things. It's you have a little bit more time to work with if you're doing like a multi-part special. So you can adapt a longer source material more faithfully, but Stephen King goes on sometimes. He really leans into shit, and it's probably better when his stuff is kind of like the fat is trimmed off of it. So I do think that there's probably a point to, you know, film adaptations being better versions of his books, just because it does kind of go through that process of, you know, just getting the good details, getting the good stuff out, you know, in the hands of a competent filmmaker. Like Kubrick, for instance. I never read the Dr. Sleep book. I'm sure it's okay, but I did think the movie was pretty good. Much like The Shining, it gets a little bit ridiculous by the end of it, but I think by the time you're at the very end of the movie, it's like you're already here. You've made it this far. So it's, despite how wacky it gets by the end, it's like the lead up to it was kind of the more worthwhile thing. But I did enjoy it. I want to watch it again. I want to watch it without the experience of the awful movie theater I was in. I don't think that movie got a whole lot of buzz. It's called Dr. Sleep. It's like, what the hell is that? If it was called like The Shining 2 or like The Shining Dr. Sleep, I bet you it probably would have made more money. But yeah, I don't think anybody gave a shit about that movie. Unfortunately, it's just not. Unless you follow like Stephen King's novels and books and stuff, nobody's gonna know what that is. I mean, word of mouth, I guess somebody would say. I know it does seem wrong, but like from a marketing standpoint, you're not gonna attract people with a movie called Dr. Sleep. It sounds like a bad B like horror movie. What was that movie? The Pee Pee Poo Poo Man? What was it? Oh, the Bye Bye Man. That's what it was. I'm used to the edited version of that poster. It sounds like one of those. It's not great. Oh Lord, he's flailing. Look at him go. Maybe I can mug something from it. Oh, we got 2 dynamo stones. Jesus. Yeah, unfortunately, it suffers from having a bad title. Almost as bad as the Wii U. Yeah, that wasn't a great one either. So much so that it almost caused Nintendo to go under. It's usually a bad sign when you release a product with such a terrible name that your company suffers from it to the point where they almost go bankrupt. Oh, what? We had over 100 potions. What are you saying? I do not know any Eleni. Okay, I was lying. Eleni, I know Eleni. Oh, there he goes. Hey, wait, where's Eleni? Guess we're just gonna have to track him down and find out. Good enough. He didn't even take the elevator up. Oh, maybe that was the point. I don't know. Maybe he's here to talk to us. I just thought he like hid in the elevator. It's like, oh, we're not actually gonna go in there. Talking about Eleni, where did you take her? Wow, look at that car. It doesn't even have any wheels. Hey, wait, tell me where... In Olab. Eleni is there. He means Odine's laboratory. To go there, go over here, then over there, and then here. I see. Do you? I didn't understand a word. Oh, okay, no. Kyros, it's your show from here. We'll be joining you as soon as we can. Until then, good luck. Please be careful. Really hoping the Switch 2 can play Switch games at higher FPS. I would expect that to be the bare minimum. I don't know if you're like joshing or what, but I think like Switch games, I've seen them run at like 30 frames per second. This is the place, right? This place sure is weird. Hey, where'd he go? I think he must be looking for us. Yeah, you wouldn't usually jump out of a car. Just kind of sped off. I hope he's alright. Hey, we got a raid coming in from Be Known. Hey, what's up, Be Forgotten? Good to see you guys. Thank you. Haven't been able to catch you as much, Be Known, but good to see you. Glad you popped in. Welcome in. You were doing, what were you doing? Teamfight Tactics. I guess I'm not familiar with that. Sounds like a big tactical game, though. Potentially done with team members. Thank you guys. Welcome in. We're doing a little bit, What's the boo for? Why are you booing me? I'm doing well. Okay, thank you. You don't know. That's alright. Welcome in, guys. Felt like it. Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate it regardless. But doing well here. We're just playing a little bit of Final Fantasy VIII. This is a viewer request from a few weeks back. We've been trying to make it through this game, but I think we're making decent progress. Apparently, according to the item descriptor I just listened or read to, this is the last little flashback sequence. So I would have to think if this is the last flashback sequence, we're probably near the end of the game, but who knows. Disc 3 of 4. Besides, we're... Uh-oh. Boy, they didn't even jump down. We're just in a battle. But how are you guys doing? I've been seeing if Be Known's gonna pop in here. If you had to go though, that's fine. It's pretty late. I think you guys are US, right? I normally probably would call it quits about an hour ago, but we did a little bit of multiplayer at the beginning of the stream. Playing some Fall Guys with Scoob and the wife and me and a friend of mine. We did some squads and Fall Guys. Had a pretty good time. Managed to get a few wins. That was nice. Double found. I guess I'll give it to Ward. Oh, what the? So many unusual gadgets here. Sit down. Here he comes. Okay. He just looked at us, spewed out an exclamation mark, and there he goes. Oh, they have green armor. That must mean they're a higher tier. We were talking a little bit about horror movies in the meantime, though. We're talking about The Shining, Dr. Sleep, Stephen King, that kind of stuff. I was trying to think of what other horror movies I like, though, because I do like a number of them. I just don't commit a whole lot of things to memory. Evil Dead 2. Sam Raimi started out as a pretty good horror director before he broke in his major movie roles as a director. Mostly with Spider-Man. Yeah, he was trying to get a superhero gig early on. He was an early pick for the Batman movie from 1989. But Tim Burton was just making it big. He had done Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Oh boy, did he do Edward Scissorhands by that point? I forget. I think Edward Scissorhands might have been in the 90s. But he was starting to get on a roll there, so the studio ended up going with Tim Burton. And as a result, Sam Raimi was like, well, I'll just make my own superhero movie then, and he ended up doing Darkman, which is kind of like, it skirts the line of like a superhero movie and like a horror film. It's kind of interesting. I don't think it's a great movie. There's some great things about it. There's a lot of like Raimi-isms in terms of like his shots and filmmaking and all that kind of stuff. But it's a very bizarre film. I enjoyed watching it like the one time I did a while back. Also, you know, with Nintendo's older handhelds, backwards compatibility didn't benefit from being played on newer hardware. 3DS runs like a DSi mode when playing DS games, hoping that it was older tech architecture differences only. Well, in some of those cases too, sometimes they'd run older games through emulation as well, and in those cases, they would just emulate the original hardware instead of having it benefit from new hardware. So it could be a case of that too. But I don't know. I never really kept up with how Nintendo works. I mean, the fact that they had backwards compatibility at all was nice. It was kind of really only a thing that was a deal with Nintendo's handheld consoles. Their main consoles never had backwards compatibility until you got to the Wii. The Wii had GameCube backwards compatibility. And then Wii U could play Wii games, obviously, but after that, it's like, yeah, they didn't really bother with anything else. Oh, I need to look at the GFs. Let's see. $20.80 in terms of HP. Maybe I'll do the magic 20%, I think is good. But yeah, big fan of Evil Dead, and then Evil Dead 2 is almost like a remake of Evil Dead, but it's like Evil Dead with like slapstick and kind of more Sam Raimi, like Unleashed. It feels more, even though the first Evil Dead was completely independent of anything, I don't know, I felt like he got his groove more by the time he did Evil Dead 2, so it feels more like a Sam Raimi type movie, you know, in a traditional sense. Do you know what you're doing? There's a big error on the screen. Probably not. I know they got their pick of the litter when it came to those names. Be known and be forgotten. Maybe this side will do something. You saw someone play PS1 Evil Dead when you were like 9. That is like it's like a Resident Evil clone. I've always wanted to play it. I had a friend of mine, he's a coworker, and he used to talk about it a bit. He loved it, but he loved anything. And he was a huge fan of Resident Evil. He was the one I was talking about that used to bring a Game Boy with him to work and play Resident Evil Gaiden on his Game Boy on his breaks. But he was a huge Resident Evil fan, and he likes Sam Raimi stuff, but he always raved about the Evil Dead game. I've always heard it was shit, but I've always wanted to try it. I still haven't, though. We unlocked something. Maybe we need to go back down, I guess? He's just tapping away at them keys. Oh, son of a bitch. Hold on, we'll have him hit that and then I'll go back. And I think the door that was on the lower platform. I didn't really start playing horror games until I was in my teens. I actually didn't really start watching horror movies until I was in my late teens into my early 20s. And by that point, I was going through a lot of the classic stuff. There was that period. I decided I loved film so much, and I wanted to watch, all the classics. One of the biggest motivating factors behind that was I was a huge fan of The Simpsons. Still am. I like, even up to mid-teens. A lot of people say, oh yeah, Simpsons went to shit by season 9 or 10. I still like Simpsons up until season 15, 16 maybe. They weren't as good as some of the prior ones, but they were nowhere near as bad as they are now. But big fan of The Simpsons, especially those Simpsons from the 90s. Hey, Be Known, welcome in. How you doing? Thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. Good to see you. I was just saying, yeah. Haven't been able to catch you as much recently, but I think our schedules are a little misaligned as it goes. But thank you. I don't know what Teamfight Tactics is, but I hope it was fun. I was doing a little team fighting tactics earlier on my stream. We were doing some Fall Guys with Scoob and everything. No, you're good. It's late. I get it. I was just saying, I think you guys are in the U.S. too, so I do not doubt if you have to take off, but I do appreciate it. So hope you have a good evening. Thank you for the raid. Thanks for stopping in. Hurry, go see her. I guess we're gonna go see Eleni. But anyway, what I was talking about with The Simpsons was The Simpsons would make so many references to movies. And I guess they still kind of did a little bit later on, but it definitely seemed more frequent earlier in their run. And I had decided every single reference they made, I wanted to watch the movie that it was referring to. And some of them were good. They were usually all classics. Some of them I liked, some of them I didn't like as much. But I'd listen to every commentary, because the neat thing about The Simpsons on DVD, when I started getting them on DVD, was that they would have commentary on every single episode. They'd always talk about everything that they wrote. If there was a reference to something, they'd be sure to point it out. So I was like, all right, this is a reference to that, this, that, and the other. And I always wanted to take a look at everything that they did and, see the source material behind it. It gained me a lot of traction, I would say, in terms of watching film and TV. It's also the League version of Dota Auto Chess. Oh, okay. Sounds interesting. It's like an auto battler strategy side game for League of Legends. Okay. Seems like Jubei's right then. Eleni. Uncle Laguna. See, I told you I'd come to save you. She's so tiny. Sorry I'm a little late, but I figured she'd be older by this point. I mean, she was young when last we saw her in the flashback, but I don't know, I thought a few years had passed. Welcome back, Squall. Okay, now we're back in the present day. There's something coming. Good Lord, what is that? I remember one of the reference materials I didn't end up liking. There was a Simpsons episode. I forget what the A story. There's, as usual with a lot of those Simpsons episodes, there's usually an A story and a B story, and then they usually dovetail together. I think it was Lisa in the spelling bee was the A story, and then the B story was Homer getting addicted to basically the McRib. It was the Krusty Burger version of the McRib. And there was a point where he first eats a Krusty Burger and his pupils dilate, and he goes through this experience, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And then it ended up being now I can't think. Requiem for a Dream was the movie, which, hey, by all accounts, it's a classic. It made me feel like absolute shit by the time I finished watching it. I bought it. I have not touched that movie since I first watched it. I never want to touch it again. Some of it hit a little close to home, and it wasn't the drug references or anything like that, but it was mostly with the The main character's like mother. I've only ever watched the movie once, but I do not want to see that movie again. It was really, it was too depressing. It's too depressing a movie to watch. But so sometimes there would be things like that. But hey, it's a classic movie, so it's like, you know, you got to experience everything once, good or bad. But you know, there's all sorts of other things. I think back to like there was an episode of The Simpsons where Homer was trying out a vibrating chair, and he was going through like some type of like time warp as he was sitting in the chair, which was a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey when they take the warp gate near Jupiter to whatever the freaky room is, and then it gets turned into a baby. But that was like an excellent movie. I mean, I liked it a lot. I know it's very divisive, but it led me to all sorts of different things just by kind of like following up on all the references that The Simpsons made. So as like a mid to late teen through the 20s, through my 20s, I felt like it was a good way to sort of like experience stuff. You know, you catch all the references from the show I liked, and I'd follow up and see where those references were actually made from. Anyway, Sorceress Edia. Yes, we came here to see Dr. Odine. Please explain what this is regarding. Yes, of course. I want to see Eleni. Where is she? Eleni? Squall, calm down. Trust me, let me handle this. Please, come with us. Wow. Wow, I want to live here. I don't. This place looks horrible. Everything looks so bubbly. We'll be arriving at the Presidential Palace shortly. So round and stuff. It reminds me of the Astro Lounge album from Smash Mouth. There's a segment in here I remember being kind of pissed off about. It was another timed sequence. It's always the time sequences I always hate. But there was like a time sequence where you had to like navigate around this stupid city in a short amount of time. Otherwise something terrible happened. I forget what. And I couldn't do it. It was really hard for me at the time I played this. That is the very reason I am here. I seek the doctor's help. I wish to be free of Sorceress Ultimisia's control. That will be easy. I don't know why they gave him like a German like affectation to his voice. As if like he's supposed to be German or something. But clearly he's got like that top knot and stuff. It's like he's some sort of ancient Japanese like medicine man or something. I don't know. Seems like an odd way to go. We just exorcised the sorceress. There is nothing Odine cannot do. I leave everything in your hands. So, you want to see Eleni? Where is she? I have to bring Renoa to her. We need to see Eleni now. So, you will take Odine hostage? You are a fool. I don't care. Just take me to Eleni. Do as he says. I gives the permission. You come back to see a man with a very funny collar, yes. The funniest collar of all. The bigger the collar in this game, the more important they are. You would have thought it would have been Squall as high as he pops his up, but no. Dr. Odine is the real main character. Very well. But under one condition. You must let me observe this girl. Well, we would need time to prepare before we take you to Eleni. So, you will leave the girl with us until then? Accept their offer, Squall. You better not do anything to Renoa. He didn't exactly accept. He just said don't do anything. You should have a look around the city. When you're ready, head eastward to Lunar Gate and meet us there. We should be ready by then. We have advanced much since the sorceress's reign. We hope you enjoy our city. I might. I hear there's some shops here that actually sell some pretty good stuff. Again, looking at the item list. We'll take the girl there. There's nothing to worry about. Just head to Lunar Gate. Alright, I get it. So I definitely want to hit up the shops. I don't know what this place is going to be like. Boy, what a weird track this is. There's like a bunch of weird sound effects that are mixed in. I bet Uematsu had a fun time composing this one. I don't think the bulk of The Simpsons peak comedy was from references, no, so I don't think it was that they didn't have enough good references to draw from. I think it was a point of them having the same showrunner for 20 odd years. I don't remember his name, but they had Al Jean, maybe? I forget if Al Jean was in the mid-term or if he was in the later term. But they had the same showrunner for 20 years. And, a showrunner will dictate what scripts pass, what episodes will be written. And when you have one guy in charge of that for, hell, even 3-4 years, stuff will start to get stale. I remember there was that guy that did, can't remember his name either, but he was a showrunner for the Doctor Who series when that got rebooted in the odd 2000s or something like that. And those first few seasons were great, up until Matt Smith. And it's like, once you got a little bit past that, it's like, okay, stuff started getting a little more stale, stuff started getting a little, less interesting. And it was mostly because the showrunner was the same. They needed somebody to freshen it up a little bit. When you have the one guy in charge, it's like having a director on something for so much of it. It's just like you need fresh ideas to come in. Even if they had new writers coming up with new ideas, it's like if the showrunner didn't pick the concept, then it wouldn't obviously get a pass. So, to the same episodes, put in a blender over and over nowadays between the executive meddling, Simpsons got ridiculously bland after season 14, 15. Yeah, that's about where I'd say I probably stopped liking it as much. It was around maybe season 15. I was just talking about how everybody says, Simpsons was shit after season 9. I think it was still pretty good through the early teens, but there was you could definitely tell when there was a drop in quality. There is probably a point to more outside studio meddling as well, but I do think the showrunner definitely has a big part to do with that, whether or not he's taking advice or, getting press ganged into choosing ideas that outside exterior producers may choose. I don't know the specifics, but I definitely think there was a point to that. They also had such great writers, like David X. Cohen, for instance. There was, every time if you go back and you watch those episodes with commentary, they talk about all the great writers that they had on those early seasons, and so many of those people just ended up getting filtered out over time. So there was also that part of it too. Some of them would go on to stuff like Futurama. I know was a big kind of a point where a lot of the writers that were originally on The Simpsons ended up migrating to that. And Futurama, in my opinion, obviously they were producing at a much slower rate, but they felt consistently fresher, I feel like, over the years in the same time period compared to The Simpsons. And that might have just been because of the setting or, because it was just fresher and it's earlier in its seasons and everything. But there probably also is something to the amount of writers that they had from it that were kind of the driving force behind those earlier Simpsons episodes. But yeah, Simpsons, it was huge and it definitely got a lot more commercial by the time it started to hit its mid-teen seasons, I feel. And I don't know if it necessarily lost its edge or anything like that. I really couldn't tell you. I just, I've seen it. I had seen episodes here and there by that point on TV, but I didn't watch it regularly at that point. I just knew that I didn't really like it as much, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna bother seeing it. But I've gone back and I've watched. I used to rerun them all the time, about 5 o'clock p.m. and then 10 o'clock p.m. On Fox back in my early teens. That's where I'd catch the bulk of them. And then I started buying like the seasons and stuff, and you know, they stopped producing the seasons on DVD until about season like 15, 16, something like that. I think I have all of them, but that's probably where I would have stopped buying them anyway. What the hell's the air station? I just want to shop, goddammit. Yeah, oh, that's weird. Look at that. That font is almost like that. That font is almost like the font that Spider-Man uses, which in turn Sony would use for like the PlayStation 3. Where the hell did they dig that out of? Yeah, it's like the PlayStation 3 font. It was from Spider-Man first, and Spider-Man obviously was a Sony property, so Sony was putting a lot of... You remember like the early tech demos for the PS3 before it came out, they had done like a recreation of one of the scenes from Spider-Man 2. But Sony was putting like a lot of driving force behind Spider-Man being like one of their major titles that they would have in it, so they ended up using the font from Spider-Man for the first few models of the PlayStation 3, just because it was like that intertwined. They're like, oh yeah, Spider-Man's gonna be our thing. Yeah, I know. I don't know, like, who would have come up with that? Like, I doubt that was a font that was just like available in like Windows. Somebody had to have drawn that from Square. So yeah, like, but then again, like, this was a maybe not, because this is a Sony property too, because Squaresoft was doing exclusive deals and game releases with Sony at that time. So maybe somebody at Sony made it for like the translated version, because this probably was in Japanese. Maybe maybe, I don't know. That's weird though. That's weird. Who came up with the font? Was it actually somebody at Squaresoft, or was it somebody at Sony, and then they just repurposed it for the Spider-Man movies, which then carried over into the PS3? Bless Final Fantasy VIII. I know, it's the source of everything. The air station is temporarily closed. Oh, okay. No, too bad. But we talked for a good 3 minutes. I'm on that font. I want to get down to it, man. I want to know. Who made it? Where did it come from? Well, here's a save point. There's so many things. I would love to dig into the development history of the Final Fantasy games. There's so much in them that, I don't know, just like a whirlwind of ideas. It seems so unique. And every once in a while, I'll pick up things that feel like they're heavy inspirations on something. In particular, I've come across a lot of stuff that I've noticed is heavy inspiration for Uematsu and his compositions. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Spotify, and just because listening to music helps me work on like commissions and stuff. My workflow is a lot better when I listen to music. But Spotify's random playlist that it like makes for me, sometimes I'll throw like a track in there and I'm like, wait a second, this sounds exactly like this. And then I'll go back and I'll compare, you know, whatever song I heard to a track Uematsu did, and I'll be like, God damn, I think he took that. I think he lifted this piece of music and used it for his soundtrack. I'm sorry, the doctor gave strict orders not to let anyone inside the lab. Okay, I guess I just can't go anywhere. I was listening to, the most recent one I was listening to was Say Say Say. It was the Paul McCartney, Michael Jackson song. And I was listening to the intro, or like would it be the hook or the chorus? I don't know if it's the chorus. Maybe it's the hook. But I was listening to that, and the notes, it wasn't the same beat, and it definitely wasn't the same tempo, but it was the same notes as oh god, what song is it? It's the song that plays when Tidus first gets transported to, you know, Spira, and he's in like the temple right after getting chased by the aquatic monster. It's like the track that plays there, it borrows those exact same notes from Say Say Say. It's like the exact same. It doesn't follow the same beat or the same tempo, but it's the same notes. Oh, thank God, the shopping mall. Finally, something understands what I'm looking for. Years ago, I was listening to a psychedelic rock band track. It's called like something, The Mad Shirt Grinder. I don't know what the hell the name of the song was. I think it's something like that. And the intro on piano to that song is exactly like, it's the exact same as Battle on the Big Bridge from Final Fantasy V. Do you want to go shopping? Sure. Whoa, this is the future. Cloud Shop. Goddamn, Cloud moved over from Final Fantasy VII and opened up a shop in Final Fantasy VIII. It's crazy. Edward the Mad Shirt Grinder. That is indeed what it is. Listen to the intro on the piano to that song and then compare it to Battle on the Big Bridge. The intro to that song, it's the exact same. It's the same thing. Uh-oh. I noticed my Twitch is starting to load. I think I'm still online, though. Yeah, we're still good. Ooh, Pet Pals. That's what we need. I mean, Renault's in a coma right now, but at least when she gets back up, if she gets back up, we'll have some new abilities. That's a fuckload of money, but let's go ahead and spend it. Why not? Johnny's shop. Wait, what was that? Shop is closed today. Please come back. Okay. Johnny not really a working man. Oh, finally a weapon shop. Maybe we can get something. Cardinal. See, I think I got all these weapons already. Wait a second. I know for a fact I got that magazine. Okay, I mean, it makes sense that it doesn't transfer. It's not just going to magically appear in Squall's inventory, but the fact that Laguna got it, maybe Laguna has to give it to him or something, or maybe we'll find it in like Laguna's room. Yeah, we don't have it in our inventory now. We definitely had it when Laguna picked it up, though. Are the shops and games always closed? I don't know. I think they just want to make the world feel full, but then they don't want to actually have anybody sell anything. Because realistically, when it comes to like unless you want to make the player wander around to several different shops for like the most menial of items, you probably don't need more than like 2 different types of shops. You need your smith for your weapons and your armor, and you need your items for battle items. And unless your game incorporates some other type of mechanic, that's probably it for the most basics of RPGs. So every other shop is just fluff. You don't need food. You need an inn. I guess you need an inn sometimes, but an inn doesn't always count. This one has pet shops. That's something different. I don't see a pet shop every day. I'm gonna make a save. I think I still have that quick save that I made in the past, so I'm just gonna make sure that maybe I picked it up or something, and then I don't know. Just like confirm once and for all that we actually got it. We also do have that hard save there. Oh boy. Alright. Well, it's late. It's actually a little later than I usually go, so I think we're gonna stop here. We made sort of a decent amount of progress. I probably would have liked to have made more, but we got awful sidetracked in a lot of shit today. Not that I mind. I love talking to you guys, but we were talking about all sorts of stuff. So it did end up taking a little bit of time, but that's okay. But yeah, I usually end like an hour prior to where we're ending here. So you do like games that go out of their way to implement food or temp stat boosts and stuff. Not a fan of where there's a mini game attached. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. It has to be well implemented, though. There are certain segments I feel like when a game just tries to like add shit for the sake of adding shit, and then it just all feels like one giant cluster, and I don't know, it's just kind of going all over the place. I remember that Star Ocean game on PS2 kind of being like that. Had a ton of content. I felt like I could play that game for like 5 years, but I did get burnt out on it. Couldn't stomach the Yakuza games because of the mini games. This is sort of the point of those games. They do put a lot of quality time into creating those mini games. So I will say that Yakuza probably does it better than some other games do, but at the same time, they're very cheaply made games. You can tell that since they obviously take place in the same location with every game. It's always that like red light district or whatever of Tokyo. Kamurocho or something. And they reuse assets like every game. But boy, they chock it full of story and content. So if you do like the kind of stuff that they're putting out there, I mean, they're great games for that. But that's definitely, those games are so long. I play one and I get burnt out on it. So you just can't do quick response sequences. Oh, QTEs, quick time events. I don't mind those. I've never had a problem with those, but I do get the point where people don't like them. I used to have a problem with them when I was a kid. I couldn't, my reaction time wasn't good enough. But these days I don't really struggle with them all that much. And rarely do I play a game where they're bullshit. Shenmue, which the Yakuza games are heavily based off of, they're basically the successors. I mean, they're both Sega games and everything. Yakuza basically took the model from Shenmue. But Shenmue had some bad QTE segments. And it's like you had to restart when you did those or like lose or whatever. And it was just like the biggest pain in the ass. I remember the second Shenmue just being like a huge pain in my ass just trying to get through some of those sequences. You needed to have like split second reaction time, and if you failed, you needed to restart from an ungodly point back in the game. It was just, it wasn't fun. Thank you, Terrenson. I appreciate it. Mini games aren't bad, but forcing people to play them as part of the story stuff is rough. Yakuza's mini games have tangible benefits of the gameplay and story progression. Yakuza's a jam, but yeah, playing the whole series would be a marathon run. Yeah, one I'm not willing to commit to. I had somebody had gifted me Yakuza 6 a long time ago, and I felt bad because I never really played it. I played a little bit of it, but I didn't really know what was going on. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play Yakuza 5 because I played 3. I beat 3. I played most of 4. Didn't beat it. I never played 5. I played 5, and goddamn, it was such a hello, Jubei, you've been here. It was such a chore to get through, I want to say, for some of those. And that was one where they did make you play the mini games. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, try it, and if you win or lose, you could progress. It was like, no, you have to win if you play this mini game. There was the hunting mini game. There was the one where you have to play like Mahjong or something. Yeah, Jubei's bringing up Mahjong, some shit like that. I don't know. You had to like do that kind of stuff. And by the time I had gotten to that point, no, it was pool. You had to play pool and you had to win. Or you had to use money that you didn't have. You either had to go grind your ass out in the streets for money, or you have to play pool and win. And I got close. I think I attempted to play pool like 2 or 3 times and I couldn't win. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to play this anymore. And I stopped. It was such a pain. I do like the games, and I do think they offer a lot of content, and they always have great stories attached to them, but goddamn, they can get frustrating sometimes, and they're a little too long, I think, for the type of game that I like to play. And of course, I'm playing an RPG, which of course these go anywhere between 40 to 60 hours, but that's part of the territory. My ideal game typically is under 20 hours. Usually something I could get, especially if it's an action game. I definitely want it to be under 20 hours. Usually if I'm playing longer than that and it's like an action game, I get burnt out on the action. But it is what it is. Let's see who's streaming right now. Benny. You know about Benny? Jubei, he's an Aussie. He's doing No One Lives Forever. That's a good game. I've been thinking about streaming that for a little bit. Haven't done it yet. He usually does like Tomb Raider runs, and he's been doing, he usually does like older games. He's been playing Croc 2 after he finished Croc 1. So we'll go pay Benny a visit. He's only barely an hour into his stream. I think he's probably the best bet right now. RPGs are supposed to be long, especially JRPGs. Final Fantasy X usually takes 100 plus hours for you. Mostly because of Blitzball. Well, you're the one committing to that. You don't have to do that. I do find the appeal, though. I do remember liking Blitzball and all the extra stuff sometimes in these Final Fantasy games. There was no goodbye redeem, so hello it is. Well, I'm limited to what Dark Souls has. I don't remember there being a goodbye carving, but I'll take a look. There's a very good one. You could say very good. The stream's ending. Very good. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I think we're still on the Final Fantasy VIII screen. Let me change to the end screen. Albed scored on you once. You had no other choice but to ruin their whole team. It was an insult by that point. I get it. I do love locking out the opposing team. There's something about it. I know exactly what you mean. I don't know if you're joking or not, but there's like this sort of offense that happens when they score one on you, and then you like absolutely lock them out, usually just with the jet shot. It's insane. Thank you, Lyra. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. Great chatting with you. Boy, we did a lot of talking on this stream, but I always love chatting with you guys, so I'm glad we could have some kind of discussions. Hopefully by the next time we do Final Fantasy VIII, we'll be able to make a little bit more progress into the story. I definitely want to get to a point where I can go to the open world and maybe grind for some new weapons and stuff. But, you know, if it happens, it happens. It doesn't, oh well. Tomorrow we'll be coming back with some Tomb Raider 4 remastered, so we'll be doing that. And you guys have a good night. We'll see you next time. Take care.